room here at the Civic Pub. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. Toilets are downstairs. There is a bar at the back of the room. There will be an intermission as well, so if you want to wait till the intermission for the toilet breaks and whatnot, that might work very well. We are recording and filming tonight, and that sort of makes everyone a little bit of a part of the show. And so with that in mind, I want you to make plenty of noise, especially as we welcome our two hosts to the stage. Please welcome to the stage, Rod and Will.
The most dangerous show in town, at least with this chair. Oh. Welcome to KindaThinky. How are you all? Yeah. It's KindaThinky.
That was a good yell. There you go.
One yeller.
Did it for the crowd.
I'm the vaguely good Dr. Rod Lammitz. This is the vaguely good Dr. Will Grant, and we're the hosts of KindaThinky, and it's our birthday.
We're not singing happy birthday now.
No,
we'll
we'll
save
do
that
later.
for, I don't know, some magical moment later.
A drunken moment, perhaps.
What is KindaThinky?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Well, I'll tell you.
Tell
it's evidence porn.
It is evidence porn.
I don't know what evidence porn is, but that's if you're ever Googling for evidence porn,
if someone wants to
hopefully
do
you
that
find
right
us
now.
and not... I'm imagining microscopes. Booze and bad language. Theme-based wrong fest.
It is. And also, if you've ever been at work and someone says, you know, they say that, you know, when you sit on a cold surface you get hemorrhoids or whatever it may be, KindaThinky's actually they. We and our guests are the them. So tomorrow when you want to say they, say, please quote us directly because you can have plenty of material.
We are the feast of evidence, but we also do love the evil stepbrother of evidence, the anecdote.
We do.
So, but as well as that, the bawdy yarn, juvenile jokes, scandalous sagas.
Yes.
But just a little bit of housekeeping. We don't need any of the golf claps, or the quiet tittering, or the sage stroking of your beard, or
your friend's beard.
Your
we
friend's
don't really
beard.
mind.
Don't stroke
beard.
your friend's beard. Yell out, holler, tweet at us. If you're going to tweet with hash KindaThinky hashtag.
KindaThinky tag.
The hash.
He
Did you get
teaches social media at a postgraduate level in case anyone was curious.
That's the thing. Just add lots of hashtags. That's what I say.
Hashtag.
Are there winners?
There have been winners. You know, in the past, people have won prizes for tweeting well at KindaThinky, including, and you all know these people, of course, we did a show called Ouch. Dustin Wellborn, who's probably watching through that tiny camera.
Hello, Dustin.
Right now.
You're a winner. We're sending you something
You've
through
won
the
a
internet
prize.
right now.
So has at La Panina Effect. She's won a prize.
Yeah,
It was a great prize. And for Excess, which is a show we did in Sydney, did we mention we'd been in Sydney?
No, we didn't cheat on you.
Well, look, Sydney was exotic and weird, but you guys are much warmer and more comfortable. So
Yeah, exactly. We're home now.
Being in Sydney was fun, but being in Canberra is good.
Who won in Excess?
In Excess, someone called So Smile or Die. Are you here? So Smile or Die won. I can't remember her tweet, but it was really good.
Yes.
And also, Gaffican.
A Gaffican.
A Gaffican.
Like
At A Gaffican. So the point being, if you tweet tonight and we like your tweet, and the judge's decision is final, and we're the judges...
Many prize.
Yeah, you could win something you could use.
Glorious usefulness.
Yeah, the tweet prizes are worth it. There's also prizes here, but they're different.
Hey, speaking of worth it,
yes.
What are we talking about tonight?
You know, we're talking about worthiness. We're going to talk all about worthiness and a little bit of worthlessness. We're going to ask questions like, how do we measure a worthwhile life, if we indeed can? How many puppies do you need to rescue to be worthy enough?
I want to know why my
puppies.
research doesn't get funded.
I want to know why my research doesn't get funded either. It's just a coincidence that there's someone there we might be able to talk to about that. We also want to know who's more worthy, ambulance people, fire people, or cops. And we have someone who can tell us all about that. I reckon he may have an opinion.
Or just one side
of that. Some, either, both. So tonight, basically, you're going to leave here a better person, but if you don't, you're going to know why you're not a better person. We can help you either way. It's all going to work.
Okay, let's learn a few stories about some worthy people from around the world.
Such worthy people.
Who do you want to start with?
Well, I'm a fan of Armenian fin swimming myself.
Who isn't?
Yeah,
like literally, we could do a poll and they'd all have their hands up.
Any fans of Armenian fin swimmers in the room? None. There's too late. No, you're too slow. There was nearly a but you're
quickly
too slow.
Googling right now.
The people at home are tweeting away. So the 17-time world champion Soviet Armenian fin swimmer, you've all heard of him, Shavash Karapetyan.
Oh. Oh, it is a he.
It is a he.
Okay, continue.
I used the Google and I saw a photo. Definitely a manly face.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm with
In
you now.
profile, extremely
So why
manly.
is this person so worthy?
So
He's
this
a fin
guy-
swimmer. That's just fin swimming.
He was going for what they call a light 12-mile run one day.
That's not fin swimming though.
No, it isn't. But this is the thing. You've got to somehow get your strength up for fin swimming.
Fair
And
enough.
he heard a crash and he saw a trolley bus with 92 passengers.
Okay.
Apparently-
I just want to know, is this story in the 1930s or something like that?
This was in
What is a trolley bus?
It's a bus with trolley-like features. And it has a capacity of at least 92 passengers. It also apparently sinks like a fucking rock because he's running along and this thing crashed, went into a reservoir and sunk to the bottom. So what did Savage do? Did he just keep on running by? No. He dived in zero visibility due to the silt in the reservoir, swam to the sinking bus, broke the back window with his legs, single-handedly rescued 20 passengers. They don't talk about the other 72, but he got 20 out. I don't want to ruin it.
Better than nothing.
92, 72. There are any mathematicians in the room?
I like all these people who are like, well, fin swimmer, try harder, seriously. Unless you get 92, go home and don't talk about
Well,
it.
maybe this will help. Look at this afterward. The multiple wounds he received from this rescue that in fact ended his career, and he was unconscious for 45 days afterwards. But he's already found a new calling as a superhero because 10 years later he ran into a burning hospital and saved all the people trapped inside.
And he got burning hospital all over him.
And that was not on a 12-mile run, though. I think he got a bit lazy.
Well, okay, here we go. Here's another one, a worthy one. What's her name? It's Agustina de Aragon, became known as the Spanish Joan of Arc. So
They've probably heard this.
Yeah, have they? Everyone knows the story of the Spanish Joan of Arc, the less famous one. So not as famous
Joan
as
of Arclet. Yeah. The semi-Joan.
So this is during the Spanish War of Independence. So she showed up at a battle to bring apples to the gunners. She ended up running in the wrong direction.
Yes.
So she's running in the wrong direction. It was supposed to be a retreat of the Spanish soldiers and attacking the French cannon. She's only got apples at this point. And she ran towards the French cannon with her apples, and the French thought there was a wave of...
and apparently she had a small cannon of her own. It doesn't mention where they came from. Tiny.
You got a basket of apples
And a little cannon. And what is it? The Spaniards were so inspired and ashamed. There's a lot of shame in Spain. They turned around and ran back to help her out.
Save the day.
Save the day.
That's a worthy thing. Hey, I want to go a different worthy story. I want to go. This is a nice thing from during the era of the Soviet Union and the height of communism in China. The Communist parties there would regularly give out Worker of the Year award. It's like the Australian.
Usually posthumously, as I understand.
Well, possibly. It's like the Australian of the
Not
Year, but it's
deliberately.
all focused on do work, do harder, do great stuff. And there's a great story of, I think it was during the Great Leap Forward or something like that in China. Mao was visiting a dam that was being built, and this dam, it was just lots and lots of concrete. And Mao was there, and the concrete wasn't getting mixed fast enough, so the Worker of the Year dived into the concrete to start mixing it with his body. And so he gets Worker of the Year, which I think is a very, very, very high standard.
And the beauty of that is, if they got him out and he survived, they could give him an award. But if he didn't, he could become his own statue. Which I think is genius. This is like permaculture.
He's like Han Solo on the edge of the dam. Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Well, there's no coming back from that carbonite. No. But we've got something better. We know how to make like everyday people like you become more worthy. There's a website
Really?
for that. Yeah.
A website?
There's a website. I know. There's a web for that. Not
I
an
thought
app.
stop looking at websites was the way to become more worthy.
Not anymore. Not anymore. There's a
tell us about
website
this.
called Stick with 2 Ks. Stick. Anyone used Stick? Not a soul. You're going to love this.
Okay, what is Stick?
Stick is a free goal-setting platform, and it's been brought to you by behavioural economists at Yale.
Are we sponsored by Stick? You
Not yet.
sounded like... Anyway, go.
Actually, I think maybe we should be if you're listening, Stick.
I don't know. Anyway.
So Yale economists, and what are they also called? Behavioural economists. Professors of Yale, which is a university.
Okay, the Yale thing, yeah.
It's nearly as good as ANU.
It's Yale.
Nearly
yeah.
as good as ANU.
Yeah.
So anyway, what they do is people have to like offer some money or something to do something more worthy, to improve their lives, to become better human
What sort of
beings.
things are they? What?
Well, they suggest you could lose weight, quit smoking, spend more time with your grandkids, something like this. And what you do is
I love that
you
someone
make a
might
pledge.
set a goal of spending more time with
With
their
their
grandkids.
grandkids.
They
Yeah.
feel guilty enough that they're not doing it, but that they'll set something up on a website to monitor their behaviour.
Grandkids can
rather
be
than just
pretty
do it.
shitty.
I know, but but just don't do it then. Just tap out and be a bad grandparent.
But then you lose worthy.
Yeah, okay.
If you're trying to get worthy points.
Like I get quitting smoking. Okay, that's you're fighting against an addiction.
But that's only for you. Like being with your grandkids
alright.
is for your grandkids, unless they hate you.
No, fair enough.
They could go the other way.
Okay, that's a bizarre one.
So what you can do with this thing is you put up a stake, you put up a bunch of money, and you can decide whether, if you don't meet your goal, the stake goes to a worthwhile charity. And they give you a little list of charities, and they tell you, we're not going to tell you which charity, because if it's a really worthy cause, maybe you're not going to try that hard because your money's
Cancerous
gone
leprosy
to a
and
cancerous leprosy,
refugees and things.
cancerous leprous refugees. We're not going to talk
And
about that.
otherwise, you can send your money
But
to...
you can also have your money go to an anti-charity. So it can go to someone who you find despicable and horrendous if you don't meet your goal. And the anti-charities include such organisations as Americans United for Life. Guess how they stand on abortion? The National Rifle Association. Guess where they stand on abortion? I don't know where they stand.
I think they have a position.
They have the Stop Climate Chaos Coalition. Guess where they stand on climate change? And my favourites, there's a whole list of these. The Arsenal Fan Club, the Chelsea Fan Club.
I'll bet they get the biggest donations, because donating to the opposite team, that would really hurt.
And if you're in England, I don't think there's anything worse that you can do. So you can choose to do this. And what you do is you set up a program. You go, okay, I'm going to give you $20 a week for 10 weeks. I'm going to try and quit something. You have a referee who decides whether you've been good or bad, and you nominate your charity or your anti-charity. So people do things like, I want to lose weight, I want to be a cleaner person around the house, I'm going to do more exercise.
So what have you pledged to do?
Well, these people I read about,
Okay.
this is how small worthiness can be. So a person called Togme is 3 weeks into their 10-week mission to stop masturbating. They've had one unsuccessful period, a period is a week, because Togme got food poisoning and also got very horny. Togme has ponied up $200 for this and has gone to a positive charity.
That's a serious investment.
For not masturbating. And they have to report to a referee who reports online.
All right, so there's Omersha.
Yes.
Is nearly 11 weeks into a 12-week watch no porn pledge. There have been 2 unsuccessful periods, so $240 has gone to the NRA. I think this is a bit of a money.
I looked at porn, more rifles for everyone.
It's got to really hurt. You're sitting there in that moment, you're just going, I'm feeling really guilty right now.
But to be fair, they only looked at it. They're not the same
So
as
you came up
Togme.
with 3 usernames.
The
And what was your third
a
username?
friend of mine, right, is also called Snacks. Snacks wants to not smoke any weed until Christmas 2015. So Snacks is 2 weeks in, and Snacks so far has not screwed this up.
I can guess Snacks' problem here.
But Snacks is donating potentially $360 to the NRA to not smoke pot until Christmas. So that's how small worthiness can be. And if you're interested, stick.com. Not that anyone would care. Do you want to write that down or look it up?
If anyone does a pledge, let everyone know. We'd love to see what your pledges are.
Hashtag KindaThinky
Yeah,
hashtag.
just send it out there.
So that's how small worthy can be and how large. But the people we're going to talk to tonight, big worthy points.
Who are they?
I don't know. No, I do know. I have a few ideas. One is Associate Professor Lyndall Strazdins, which sounds like a Latvian name. I'm going to ask her about that, because I am Latvian. I know, right? You didn't know that. You're going to walk off.
I've never heard.
She is an Associate
One of the
Professor
small
at the National Centre for Epidemiology and Population Health, which is a long title. Next, we have Tammy Van Dunga, who is the CEO of the RSPCA ACT. It does not get more worthy than that. Does anyone disagree?
Look,
Dead
let's not press. That's a lot of pressure.
For the
straight
people
away.
at home, this is what I just saw. 800 people, which is about 437 eyes. Who else?
Okay, we've got Professor Aidan Byrne,
Who?
the CEO of the Australian Research Council.
Never heard of it.
Then we've got Sean Corici, Head of Training for St John Ambulance, ACT, and Team Leader with the State Emergency Service.
That's pretty worthy too, actually. Like he saves people.
Seriously.
He might have been an
I sound like
Armenian
the bad
fin
guy.
swimmer in a former incarnation, I'm thinking.
All right, let's crack on then.
Let's.
Guest number 1, Lyndall Strazdins. Please
Please
welcome
come
to
and
the
join
table.
It's a safe chair.
Lyndall Strazdin, Associate Professor at National Centre for Epidemiology and Population Health, ANU. National Leader in the field of work, family and child well-being, especially the role played by the quality of parents' jobs and the pressures and challenges on families to combine work and caring.
Good evening,
Good
Lavaka.
evening.
Lavaka.
Lavaka. That sounds very Fijian.
Hey,
Latvian.
Are you excluding me?
To which I'll say paldies. That means
good.
thank you. Let's do Latvian class.
Look, I'll just get on Google and slowly work out where's the toilet. Like,
Actually, the only other one I know is Steiger Petersdoms, which means take a walk farting.
why?
I haven't learnt that.
I'm not addressing that to you, though. So,
Damn, what?
what do you do? What's epidemiology?
Okay, I'm not an epidemiologist.
Okay.
I'm a clinical psychologist.
Are you really?
But I'm really,
awkward.
I'm a social scientist that looks at how societies shape health. So that's what I'm interested in, how people live.
Well, we're living for a lot longer now,
How-
so
how they
society's
live,
got to be making
It's
better.
making a big difference to our life expectancy, so how people live and then what that means for their health.
And you deal a lot with the whole parent, family, child,
Yeah,
workplace
yeah.
interaction thing.
So what's changed a lot is how we work and then who's working and then what that means. And that's changing health as well. So I'm really interested in how that's all playing
So
out.
what do you mean, how we work?
Well, the sorts of jobs people do, who's working in them, how long they're working, when they're working, how hard they're working.
So Australians
So-
are the hardest workers in the world, of course.
Not quite.
No, we work smarter, not harder.
That's it. I know I do.
Just some of us.
just 3 or 4 of us.
But hang on, just give us a time frame here. So what's the sort of thing that has been the big difference? So from like the 50s, are we saying here? Or?
Okay, so there's a couple of big things that have changed. First thing is that 1950s, most of our labour force was men. Now it's almost, it's approximating equal, men and women. And that's
Success.
and that's completely changed what people do and how they run their families and how they run their work.
So that's a good thing, though,
Yeah,
having,
is it
having
a
women
good
in the
thing?
workforce.
It's a
and-
great thing, but it's changed a lot of things, how we live.
What are the...
So I'll give you an example. So in 1970, if you were a family in Australia or in the US, if you think about a family as a unit, they would have given about 49 hours or 45 hours a week to labour market.
Okay.
Now
The whole family.
The whole,
So-
as a family, one
that
person
would
would have
be
been
like a-
So
giving.
typically one
one
person
person.
doing all of
Yeah.
that?
Now it's closer to 80 or 75, and so that has completely changed what it's like for people.
And what do you think's driving that?
Well, they're
Just
working more.
simply. I'm just going to write that down.
Well, that sounds like
We're
we've got-
doing a
stop-
quiz. I'm
stop-
testing him afterwards.
Stop working more.
In Latvian too.
I'm going to take that
But so
advice.
that's 2 people in full-time work. But we've
Well, in Australia it's 75, and it's normally one person in full-time work and one person part-time.
yep.
But given we're in a world of worthiness, which we are right now,
Yeah.
is part of that, are people driven to do that because if they don't, there's some kind of less worth or they're not doing the right thing, the done thing? Is that an issue that you're aware of?
I think most people think working's worthy.
Just whatever.
And we know that if you design a society where only one person can work, you create a huge...
And that's a big part of
Problem.
a big part of the movement of women into the workforce is that work has a lot of worth. You know, it has a lot of value in society. You meet someone at a party and you say, what do you do?
Yeah.
That's the first question, and
It is.
that's how we start to assign a bit of value to
Yeah.
what that person is.
Yeah, and everyone knows that, and people value it. Parents value it, kids value it. They value their parents working too. It's people
Oh, really?
understand how important work is.
What do you see from the kids side of town? Kids
Yeah.
actually
So-
describing that?
Yeah, so I do a lot of research with a very large data
That's not a
set,
joke.
and we know what parents do, but we also ask kids what they think of it.
And what do they?
And most kids really appreciate their parents working, but a lot of them have trouble with how long they work.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you talk like 12-year-olds or something like this?
Yeah,
or-
so we've asked 12 to 13-year-old kids what they think about their dads in particular, and about a third of them say he works too much.
And do you have an inkling of how long too much is, or is it
But
just
I
less?
just would say a third of dads say they work too much.
Only a third?
A third, and the kids and fathers agree.
I'm
and,
not even
does
a dad.
that
I
line
work
up
too
with the
much.
people that actually work too much, or is
Yeah,
or is there some
Pretty
sort
much. No, it's pretty close.
Okay,
Yep, there
so
are.
we at least know when we're working too many hours.
Yep, when that's how long they work, and if they work on weekends, that's a big one.
So too many, I'm thinking, is about 20 hours a week. Above 20.
20 plus.
I'm not saying how much they do, but I'm thinking, if we all brought it back to about 20 hours a week, that'd be about right.
Well, kids actually, kids weren't saying how long their dad should work, but they were saying as soon as he started working above, say, 45 hours, then they were more likely to
So
start.
what do they
saying-
notice? It's the weekends and late nights or something that
so,
they're noticing?
So for kids, weekend time is precious time.
Right.
They really value that, particularly their dads. So when dads work on weekends, and if
So-
most dads who work, say, 50 hours or more are working weekends.
Why is this particularly dads? Is it because women might be working a little bit less? They might be more likely to be in a part-time job?
Yeah, so
or-
women actually don't report as much problem balancing work and family as men do
Really?
in Australia. Yep.
They don't report it, or they probably don't have it. Can you tell the difference?
So women cut back.
On work?
So
On work.
they're actually deliberately cutting back.
They
whereas
cut
men
back
aren't
so they
cutting
don't
back.
have the problem, whereas men don't.
So
So
we-
men are actually having more trouble.
So men
with it.
are working longer hours still at this point, even in both in full-time jobs?
Just want to check. Is there any parents here? Yeah. Okay.
2. Same children?
So it's coming.
Who's looking after your children?
I know, shouldn't you be at work? It's not even 8 o'clock, middle of the
We
week.
can do this on the weekend. No, we can't do it on the weekend.
And we are at work, so
Yeah,
like we're working too long as well. So do children, what I'm more curious about is this whole sense of how you get your own sense of identity. Do people report any other way other than their job? Like that, when you do research or when you do clinical psych stuff, do people say, oh, I am my job and I'm also an amateur concrete furniture maker, or I play a lot of guitar?
What are you saying?
Just suggesting. Or is it pretty much always
Semi-amateur?
entwined? I'm not even amateur. Is it all entwined in work from what you're seeing?
Well, I kind of think it's changing a little bit. I think a lot of people are thinking their worth is their work. I think that is starting to shift more and more into that than what it was.
So like in 50, 20, whatever years ago, we
yeah,
didn't
I think we're
invest so much
starting to
identity
think
that way?
overwork is a good thing. I think we think it's heroic.
Heroic. Yeah, I've heard that. I have
But
colleagues
you
who
see,
do it.
you do hear the stories of the corporate office, you know, and that association with the word heroic, I think, is really interesting. You know, the corporate worker or the public servant who's there until bleeding their eyeballs out at 11 o'clock at night.
Are there any of those?
But they associate that with
They're not here.
hero
They're
stories.
not here. No, they're at work. They'll come later.
But it's like he pulled an
They're
all-nighter.
watching us on the web.
They're watching right now. They're streaming.
Yeah, well, they've got one tab on their email and one tab on KindaThinky. So
They're on stick. I won't work as
wishing
much.
they could quit something. Wish I could quit KindaThinky.
So do you guys ever offer
Please, someone
advice?
donate $350 to NRA to quit KindaThinky.
Do you actually, in part of your work, offer people advice on what is good, what's enough, what's too much, how they might break these habits, or you just kind of just report?
So in my research, we don't offer advice.
Yeah.
We just try and work out where the tipping points are. So we try and figure out how long is too long in
Yeah.
terms of health, and we can work out the tipping point where
So how long's too long?
Well, around 41 hours seems to be a tipping point.
20 hours. I'm hearing 20 hours.
But okay, 41 is only a tiny bit above what most people would is the full-time working week of somewhere between 35 and 40 hours, ignoring your 20. But that's roughly the full-time working week.
Yeah.
So just a little bit above that affects your health.
That's fine if you don't have anything else to do also.
Right.
The tipping point goes down once you start doing other things.
That is very early though, isn't it? So is this, if you concrete, play guitar, go for a run occasionally, will that tip you over if you're doing 41 hours plus?
Or you lose those things. So isn't that the
Will they
point?
just disappear?
You start to do less of those.
Right.
First of all, your mental health starts to change.
Yep.
But then people start to cut back because there's a trade-off, right? You've only got 24 hours in a day, so you've got to stop something. And so people stop doing things like eating well or exercising.
Yep.
And, you know, all of you will know, you've got to spend 30 minutes every day exercising.
Doing it right now. I'm
Well,
with you.
only 43% of Australians do that.
40, is it as many as that?
Yeah.
I actually thought it was less. Aside from these fit young people here, I actually thought it would have been
audience.
less than 43.
It's less among people who work long hours and it's less among parents who've got jobs.
Can we fix it? Can we make this better? Are we going to say it's cultural and that kind of thing, or is there any way to nudge this worthiness into actually looking after yourself?
Well, I'd like to see worthiness to be more about merit,
And merit, how would
not
you measure?
hours.
How would you measure the merit? Like what you've done, your projects, or your
Quality, talent, ability,
talent?
innovation, creativity.
Measure me on what I could do.
Measure me on my talent.
What I could do. I showed my potential, but
Not just what you do in terms of amount.
How well the kind of panache with which you do it.
if it's good stuff,
It's good stuff.
surely if a boss is saying, okay, you've delivered a lot of good work,
Go home.
I don't care. If
Yeah.
you've delivered enough good work, you can go. But
So isn't this theory then that people start working with, we'll go project-based and deadline-based rather than number of hours
Well,
in the
isn't
saddle?
reward meant to be about merit?
I got no beef with that. It's how you measure merit. That's what I'm curious about, how you measure the merit.
Well, it's quality. So
Well, how do you measure quality?
what do you promote? Well, how do you measure? Quantity's easy, and that's the thing. It's lazy, right? You can go, right, that person's produced how many things?
or they were in at
Written
6
that
o'clock
many-
in the morning and
written
they
that
left
many-
at
yeah.
9
Yeah,
o'clock
yeah.
at night.
That's
so
easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why we do it. But it doesn't mean it's good.
Oh yeah, we can measure heaps of things we don't value.
And then if you keep saying, right, so the people who are going to win here are going to be the ones who do the most, then it makes it a tournament
so
about
it's
how
do
much
the
you
most
do.
or look like you do the
So
most.
what you're starting to do is reward things that aren't good quality. You're
Like
rewarding
publications.
amount.
Hey, wait. It's like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard. Of course, it's hard. It's really easy just to count things.
Is there anywhere doing it well? Like any kind of industry, organisation, country, city, state? anything.
Or is the whole world going in this trajectory of just do more and more without caring about quality?
I think it's hard not to go that way. I think some countries are trying different things. I think there's been some standout countries who have really tried to think about their economies as an innovation rather than a quantity. So, but I would say it's easy. There's huge differences amongst countries in how long people work. So, you know, there are some countries where a full-time job is closer to 60 hours.
Really?
And that's like Japan or Korea. And there's countries
How do they even have a family life?
Well,
I mean, if it's 60 hours.
Well,
are they still
anyone
very-
here do demography? Anyone here know what's happening to Japan?
I think birth rates through the roof. they're having second baby boom. 8 children in a family. Am I right? Or
Yes,
Well-
both parents working 100 hours.
or
There's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem because they've got about a third of their population is
Do
not-
they- do they-
is
but they must-
declining because they don't have enough
But
kids.
they must look at this population decline and say, okay, what can we do about this? And they must associate that with the fact that people are working too much. Are
Yeah.
they?
Must
That-
they?
that- I don't know.
I
Are they
know,
or
I know.
are they not? Do they see that as the connection? Or is it just they think people don't like sex or something?
Oh, they like sex.
I don't
but
think
not for
I don't think
procreation.
I can speak on behalf of the Japanese on this one.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But surely.
Comparatively speaking, you have the expertise because you know how many hours they work
But-
a week.
Yeah, no, look. I understand, but surely these countries they see this problem. Aren't they trying to do something, or is it just too hard? Are we?
So there's lots of policies about how to get women to work
Yep.
in Japan. There's very few policies on how to get men to work less.
Oh, I've never heard of any country that has had a big policy about how to get men to work less.
Yeah.
Does any that you're aware of?
Well, countries have a lot of men who work very differently to here. So if you were in Norway or Denmark or somewhere like that, you'd be working around 37, 38 hours a week.
Sounds a
You know
little
what
high.
I thought? I was thinking about this the other day. I had a conversation with Lyndall the other day about this, and I thought one way you could do it is you could just any email that you sent after 5:01
Just explodes.
p.m. in the afternoon, it
Just disappears.
explodes, and you
deletes.
send it again, it just no, it didn't work, didn't work, and so you see those
Or it
emails
actually
from someone,
bounces.
Yeah.
like someone
Sent
sent
at
an email
3
at
a.m.,
11:30, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
3 a.m. and it's like no, that deleted, all that was
Or
wasted.
it does a whole insert pictures of cats or something, just
Yeah,
completely
he said
banal.
something like that.
Why are you sending me this shit at 11 o'clock at night? Go home, have a family.
There you go, solution.
You're welcome. Anything
like
else
it.
we
You
can
can
help you
patent
with?
that one.
I'll try and think of how to write a grant on that.
Well, we could maybe ask someone later
Yeah.
about, not that he's here for that kind of advice. So what would, if you could fix something, is there one major thing you try and fix or nudge in a better direction in terms of this work-life balance and how we measure our sense of self-worth and so on in this realm?
Well, I guess I'd start to get people to think that what's good isn't how much. It's about trying to think more about what is it, the worth, the real worth and the value of what people are doing, not just
Yeah.
the stuff, the amount that they're sending
Not just
out.
raw output,
Yeah.
like emails.
So that
at
I
3
think
a.m.
that would make a big difference. I think it would make a great difference to start to reward people on that and not how long they do things, how long they're working, and the amount that they produce therefore. I think we could do a lot more about supporting men to work less.
No? Go, men!
Make it easier for
How
them.
many hours do you do a week?
I do about 40 hours a week.
Is that true?
Don't listen, Aidan.
So why did you say that though? Why did you instantly jump to don't listen?
okay,
Amy?
so-
But
okay.
that's longer
So-
than your.
So every time I've
schedule.
gone
Low
for
tipping
promotion,
point.
I've written that in my promotion application, and every senior woman who's looked at that said, "Do not write that in. That is sure death."
As in,
that
they're,
right?
they're saying if you wrote down I work way more than that, that'll
Well,
work,
you just
or-
don't mention that you don't work more. You don't work massive hours. It's
Noted.
It's not gonna do you any
But,
favours.
the number of hours that you're working,
But mind
obviously
you-
everyone in the world knows the ANU
That's-
enterprise agreement.
Yeah,
And, and we're
35
scheduled-
hours.
35
I
hours.
give
So
them
you're
5
doing
hours
more.
for free.
There you go. Too many hours. So you're saying, please stop me from working this much, and you're saying that that's perceived as a terrible thing that you're not
Well,
working
if
enough.
if everyone works more, it makes it harder for everyone else has to work.
I agree. I abuse colleagues all the time who say I was in here on the weekend and I go, why the fuck
Do
did you
what?
do that?
I have always seen this. When I was doing my PhD, now
true.
there's always such a culture in the academic world of everyone telling everyone else to have a holiday, but I could never have a holiday myself. No.
I'm on holiday right now. Send. Boom.
This is how I do my holiday. Just got to do a few
I'm
emails.
with the boom.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Well, I think we fixed it.
I think we have.
And the future Vice Chancellor actually watches KindaThinky every week. It's not on every
Does
week,
he?
but he sits there just in
Right.
case. So this is going to have an effect.
We need a comm strategy to solve that problem.
Yeah.
But anyway,
This is pretty
We
much
don't want
it.
to boom his emails.
No, we don't want to boom his emails.
but why not? But it's got to start from the top. You know, you got to start a culture. Tony Abbott has to, stop working so much. Maybe we've solved.
Or start working at all.
We might have solved some other problems.
Details. I think on that note, we should let Lyndall go.
Please,
Before
everyone,
you
big
leave-
round of applause. Yes,
We have a present for you.
an illustrious. This is pure merit.
That is not quantity. That is definitely
quality.
quality. Thank you very much, Lyndall.
Thank you, Lyndall.
You're welcome.
So now we're doing a quick microphone swap. I want to
How
tell
many
you about.
hours are you working?
Well, I do at least 12. But see, I'm coming off being part-time, so I'm confused.
Yeah,
I don't know
definitely.
what a full-time load is.
It's
I was told 20. In Latvia, no one understood that.
look,
What
I'm
you
hearing,
said was-
I'm hearing ish, 20-ish,
Ish, yeah.
something like that. But as long as you send a tweet at night time, you can say that's working.
That's it. Well,
I was doing some work.
we are professional communicators after all. And
Yeah, exactly.
that's obviously showing right now. We have a new guest, This isn't the only guest. We've heard about work. Now we're going to hear about puppies and kittens.
Are they worthy?
God, they're worthy.
They're the centre of worthiness.
Look, I'm
in
going to
the
be honest.
universe.
I don't really care for kittens, but I do care for
Oh,
puppies.
I know people do though. Like you got to be
This is a dog crowd, right?
magnanimous.
No.
Dogs or cat? Hands up for dogs.
Off you go.
Hands up for cats.
Free drinks. On wheel. So what I saw was
Dog-
800 people, dogs, 2 cat people.
No, there was many love for many.
That's
They
what I
were,
saw.
you know.
No, okay. What about rabbits?
I
One
know. I
rabbit.
grew up in Queensland where a rabbit was like it.
You
was,
had a cassowary,
It was little
didn't you?
Hitlers.
You
Like
had a-
they all had little
You had a pet cassowary.
pet cassowaries. Everyone had a pet cassowary, and actually there were kids that had pet wombats and kangaroos where I was
You're
growing
not
up.
allowed to have a pet wombat.
Yeah, look.
How do you get a leash around a neck that size? That's bigger than my belt. That's tough. What do you call those?
Wombat
things?
only pet stores. I don't know. Maybe look. North Queensland had a lot of weird people.
Quirks.
So, yeah, they make their own leather as well. So they don't buy a leash from the leash shop. Who have we got next? Please welcome Tammy Van Dang.
Now, Tammy is the CEO of the RSPCA ACT. That is a lot of acronyms, okay? I see. Since February 2014.
But we understand them all.
We do. CEO,
Yeah.
no test there. ACT, never heard of it. RSPCA.
Internet watches. Yeah, that's the Australian Capital
R
Territory.
stands for Regal, right?
Yeah, the Regal.
But she oversees a team of 50+ employees and hundreds of volunteers who cater for and care for.
One sounds kind of easy. The other sounds.
Yeah,
very
7,000 animals, more than 7,000 animals. That's
they
a
the
lot of
volunteers?
All in one place, no.
Not all at one
Not all in
time.
one place.
All at one place, but not all at one time.
But you also paddle boats and boards, and you wear cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. So, Tammy, welcome very, very much.
Thank
Good
you.
to talk to you. And thank you for coming on and tarnishing the reputation of the RSPCA
Oh,
once and for all.
We did have this talk already
We did have this talk,
about
but,
not tarnishing.
but now we're live.
Better get me a
So there are
drink.
things that the RSPCA can't say that you're worried about saying here. You can just say
No,
them now.
I'm
Just get
pretty
them out.
confident I've already been asked those questions at least once by a reporter. So,
Oh, we're not reporters. We're much worse than that.
yeah, you've
So,
been drinking for a while.
I
too.
thought you were the good guys.
How did you end up in the RSPCA?
Not a straight path by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I touched animals was in high school. I worked with.
Wait.
If you're gonna throw that to me.
This is like Questicon's other slogan: touching 100,000 kids annually.
Another drink.
That's not written here at all.
So okay.
Moving on from touching animals in high school, which is why you came to Australia.
It's funny because when you're in my business these days, we talk about a lot of things that, if you heard, would probably come out as a X-rated joke. So I'm going to have to really watch myself with you guys.
We're among friends. here.
We've had X-rated jokes.
No, it's okay. I worked as a vet tech through high school.
Oh.
So it was 3 years, and basically all I did was clean cages, though I got to help with some surgical prep. I also painted fences every once in a while when they needed me to do things like that as well. But certainly dealt with a lot of domestic animals, horses, every once in a while some wildlife. But I didn't think I'd go back to it. And one reason is because I really suck at biology.
Do you need to know biology to help clean cages and that sort of thing, though? I mean, does it matter?
Not to clean
Different types of
cages,
poo.
but well, that's true. There are different types of poo.
You need to know what
Yeah,
cleaning
there's,
product.
There's like different. There's a whole
This is
range.
more-
My vets,
Rat
my
poo,
vets will
cat
give
poo.
you like 10 different kinds of poo, and they'll describe it for you to know what kind of issue that
You can
cat
describe
or
it if
dog
you
might
want.
have.
You don't have to. It's just an
Anyway.
option. So you went from vet tech in high school,
In high school,
and then
No touching animals for a period.
not the four-legged kind.
Yeah, yeah.
sabbatical.
A sabbatical from animal touching.
So went to uni, studied business, went down a business path.
Okay.
Decided I was pretty poor at the time. I was pretty hungry at the time at uni, so ended up going through an officer training school and went into the Air Force.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
This is a long story. You sure you
No,
want to
that's
do
a
this?
good story.
That's
All
right.
right,
It took them an hour on 2CC on Sunday, so I'm not sure if you want to go
We're
through this.
faster than them.
Okay. You're a
A
professor.
much more intelligent
You
audience.
got PhDs. So, okay, just a short,
So you got to the Air
short
Force,
thing. I did the Air Force,
strafed Iraq.
got my MBA,
back.
went to Germany, decided it wasn't for me, joined the
to
Peace
Germany?
Corps. Yep, joined the Peace Corps then. Decided I was making war, let's make some peace. Felt, you do that. when
Balances
you-
out the worthiness, yeah, I can see that.
I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
so. Did that somewhere in the middle, decided to go back to the US. Worked for NASA for a while, was a project manager.
Wait.
I told you this is going to take a while.
Your CV's awesome.
I told you it took an hour last
When you
time.
finish, we're just going to clap it.
My parents do not think I could keep a job, so let's just be honest.
So
Okay, okay.
first you saved Iraq, then you went to Mars.
No,
Now,
well, no.
then
So I was in Africa. So I was in Africa. But that was for
The
the Peace.
landing was a bit inaccurate.
That was for the Peace Corps. I went to
Couldn't get the
that
NASA.
was
Overall.
vaccinating children, right? I'm assuming.
No business again. I was helping them.
Oh, business, okay.
Small business stuff,
Okay.
helping them build businesses and things in Africa. Then worked for NASA in DC for a while. That was a difficult time. We had the space shuttle disaster. We had 9/11. We had the sniper
You
shooting.
didn't cause that though.
I left right
Okay.
after that.
And no one asked.
Just to be safe, I left.
We're not saying you're fired, we're just saying...
It all stopped when I left. I don't understand.
But to be fair, there was a shuttle accident before you got there as well. I'm assuming you meant the second
That
one,
was
right?
a decade or so before then, before I got there, but
Not your
yes.
fault.
Yeah. So then went to LA, had my own business for a while, was pretty tired.
You were going to say movie star then, weren't you?
I know movie stars.
No, you know movies.
I know movie stars, yeah. I went to school with Neil Patrick Harris from kindergarten till 16.
There you
Yeah,
go. And that's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
celebrity. He's a worthy
Everybody
celebrity.
knows a celebrity in here, I reckon. Especially
Yeah.
Australia, you're like one step away from one rugby
Less than
professional
that,
player or
yeah.
something.
I know Will.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So,
So-
LA,
Is there a better
LA,
after Zen?
I had a business. I was married at the time. He got a job at the embassy here, and at first I was actually on a flight thinking I was moving to Denver at the time. So we were on a flight
There,
going.
there was a whole bunch of mine workers that came over to Australia, and they were tricked in from Italy, and they were tricked. They were
Same
said they were going
thing.
to Austria.
Well,
and they
here's
came
the
to
here's the
Australia
deal.
instead.
to
I wa-
Cuba Petey or something. Go and dig a hole.
Yeah, and that's what I was worried about because I was on the flight, changing planes, and I got the call. Hey, do you want to go to Australia instead? And the only thing I knew about Australia, I mean, I knew a lot
South
of things about
Park is not
Australia,
based
but for the types of jobs my ex would have, it's usually in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, I don't want to be in a small little town.
No,
So-
we're our own somewhere, though. Australia's so big that we are somewhere by virtue
Well,
of our size.
apparently he found out it was Canberra. And I said, Canberra, where the hell's that? Called up a relative, said, can you look up this Canberra place in Australia? Where the hell is this
You
place?
didn't have the internet at the time?
No, that was before mobile phones had it on your phone.
Ah, okay.
You know, it was like before you had data on there. So I've been
yeah.
here about a decade now. And so I called him up and he said, looks like a big park.
Look, that's an accurate description.
Yeah,
That is-
exactly. And he said, it's apparently the national capital.
Who knew?
So it's a city.
Brand Canberra, we need to get this out a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm
Just
like,
a big park. That's,
a big park. It's called Canberra. And yeah, why not?
Canberra.
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 I
That's
got
better.
that.
It's much better. Yeah.
Ula-dula- Oladola. Oladola.
No, that's a lot.
I used to say Adula, and they all made fun of me. So,
How do you say Monica?
Manuka.
Yeah, she does.
There you go.
So
Bloody queen.
RSPCA then.
Yeah.
So you got drunk
Some-
one night. You stumbled into a thing and you thought RSPCA. It's
What
been
the
a while."
hell? Haven't touched an animal in a while.
Yeah, you got the animal itch. You got the Kavorka.
This is the
I
animal.
got the Kavorka.
If anyone does this to you tonight, they know where it is.
Well,
So that's an unworthy reason
I
to
actually,
get into
well, I moved to Canberra in 2006, so I've actually been here for a while.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be 3 years, and I just never left. So
to a lot of us.
I did IT, because when I was working at NASA, I got heavily involved in IT, and I had my own business for a while. And while it wasn't a passion, I was doing a lot of volunteer work on the side, and I've been on boards for ages for not-for-profits. So I had that not-for-profit stream all the way through. I just wasn't getting paid for it. And then finally got sick of IT, and I thought, oh, look, I'm just going to start a business. And I had a consulting business for a while that was actually helping not-for-profits with strategy and planning and operational things. And that was fine, but I was really frustrated by the fact that a lot of people just wanted you to write a strategic plan for a grant. They didn't really care about implementing it.
Yep.
You guys don't know anything about that.
Why would you implement something?
I know.
Why'd you write a plan?
You just want the money for the grant. I know. So, but for me,
No, we do a lot of implementation without planning as well to give us our due. We can miss out the whole middle phase as well.
got it.
Don't get a grant for it. So you were doing this?
Well, I was doing that, and I was just frustrated nobody was really implementing, or they weren't even interested in implementing. They just wanted a strategic plan to get the grant. So, and I missed running a team. I was used to running a fairly large team, and I didn't like working by myself. And I wasn't really looking. I had some other opportunities, but this job became available. And when I saw it, I thought, wouldn't it be fine to go full circle? You know, to not actually work in the animal industry at all since I was in my teens, and then to do all these weird things that somehow lead me back to it. And I just knew it was the job for me. So I went ahead and applied for it. And there you go.
So why is it the job for you? What is the thing about being the RSPCA?
Okay, two things.
Two things.
You can have two things.
Two things, damn.
They got a good coffee machine and...
No, we don't have a coffee machine.
Oh,
I hope you're listening, donors at home. What donors in the room?
not just money, it's the coffee machines
Well,
that count.
I know people don't come for the coffee when they meet with me. Let's put it that way. The two things I love the most about the job, one, I wake up every morning with a purpose that's greater than myself. I love the fact that I know that what I'm doing is making a difference.
How do you define the purpose?
Purpose is I'm saving lives. I'm running a team that are saving lives.
And can I clarify? Literally 50 employees in the ACT?
Well, I have about 60, actually.
And they're actually salaried at some level?
Yeah.
They're full salary, full-time?
Well, some of them are part-time.
So are there that many animal lives that need saving in the ACT?
Yeah.
More
I
than
mean,
50.
you cannot use machinery to work with animals. You know, it's not one of those things. It's a high environment where you have to clean after them, you have to walk them, you have to feed them. There's not machines made for that kind of thing. Wow. We have one of the largest vet clinics in Canberra. People don't know that, but we have 5 full-time vets and about 8 nurses, because we're the only place that people can go to get vet work done if they're on Centrelink. Because we'll do a payment plan for them. We'll do lay-by. We'll do other vet plans, because we don't want neglect cases out there. We'll provide that service.
Do you advertise that widely? Because obviously I know all about the RSPCA except for that bit.
Well, we turn...
I've never heard that.
Are you on Centrelink?
Nearly. Well, after this.
Paying you wages.
Yeah, 20 hours a week, I'm just checking. No, I mean, we're doing some really incredible things right now.
Yeah.
Right now, we're doing a desexing program, the only one in the country that's offering free desexing for cats this month in September and this month only for people that are on Centrelink health cards or DVA gold cards. So if they cannot afford to get their cat desexed, we will do it for them this month with the help of 5 vets in town. We've worked that out. Every other state's just doing discounts.
Yeah.
Sounds worthy. Sounds very worthy.
Yeah, and and everybody else can get a 20% discount. It's actually illegal not to desex your cat, but we don't care. We just want it done because we've had this massive growth in kittens over the years. We had a 12%, we broke our record in 2013-14 by 12%.
Of kittens out there in the community.
For adoption that we adopted out. Last year we broke it by another 9%. That's 12% growth, 9% growth. We cannot...
What are you hoping to achieve next year? You're going for 25%?
This is not a good growth rate.
No, it's not.
So with the desexing program over 3 years' time, we think it's going to take 3 years to show any impact at all. But we have budgeted for it. I've applied for grants to try to help out with some of the marketing. You might have seen the Frisky Cat campaign. Have you seen Frisky Tom on TV or anything? Or
Yes.
There's a cricket
These
noise.
people don't watch
it's
TV.
on Canberra FM. It's been in Canberra Weekly. So the whole campaign is called Frisky Tom, and it's trying to get people's attention.
Yeah.
We got rated on TV. I can't play it on Saturday morning.
Can't you?
No.
Well, it is about, the thing.
Is it cats doing the humpback beast? Is that?
No, it's a beautiful...
That's not how it works.
It's a beautiful...
They don't do it like that. They're like, yeah. And then Then there's the thing in the penis that like the cat can't get it.
I thought both of them had penises with cats.
Like biology, I am expert.
My vets would totally have that conversation with you right now.
There you go.
So how does the RSPCA get funded?
Well, that's also a misnomer because we get about 15% of our funding from government, that's state government, and that's for
So the ACT government
ACT government
gives you 15%.
15%. We have a $4 million budget, so it's not significant. It's not significant.
No.
The majority of most of our income comes from probably about half of that is donations, and the other half that's not government is coming from the commercial services we provide to the public. So adoption fees, we have a dog training school, we have a cat boarding facility. So all those services we provide, you buy dog food from us, you get vaccinations from us instead of going to someone else. That money just comes right back to the shelter.
So of the stuff that we see about the RSPCA, around the country on the news is the horrible stuff. The terrible neglect cases where someone's got, X number of dogs or cats or something kept in terrible conditions. Is that a large part of your work, or is that a very rare thing?
One of my key things when I first got here is we nearly went broke last October. Literally, I was that close to calling the minister and saying, I need that money that we get every 6 months. I'm going to need it early. Otherwise, we're about to go under. I can't make payroll. And we had a bequest come in just in the nick of time that just got us over that edge.
Really?
People have no idea how close we were when we almost went under last year. So we're not out of the woods yet. But
Is this common, though, as far as you were? I mean, before you were CEO, does this happen regularly?
Well, for us, we lost money 8 out of the 10 years before my time. In the 2 years we had a profit was based on a significant bequest.
Yeah.
So we pretty much lost money for the last 10 years. You cannot do that. I know we're a not-for-profit,
But you still got to break even.
You got to break even. You have to break even. And
So there's a call out to the older people watching or in the room.
I mean, the thing is, people.
Your family are going to be fine.
It's just a reminder too, though, that we're state-based organizations. We don't get funding from other RSPCAs. It doesn't work that way. We're a separate entity,
Really?
which allows us. I mean, we do have a membership to the national body, and we fund them so that they could do national policy work. That's how it works.
Yep.
But they don't fund us. So it's a different kind of model,
Sure.
Which means that we have the ability to customize the services we provide for the community based on our community. Now, here in the Canberra, one thing I noticed when I first got here is we were trying to do all things for all things pets and animals. And we were so stretched thin, we could not do that. That was part of the reason why we're spending a lot of money. So we went back and refocused on our core mission, which was prevention of cruelty to animals.
Yep.
That is why the RSPCA began in the 1800s. It's
Yep.
why it began in Melbourne first. It's our 60th birthday this month here in the ACT, same location in Weston. That's why we're here, is for cruelty. So we went back and we revamped.
Or not. Against
For
cruelty.
cruelty.
I would prefer that we go out of business because you don't need us.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But the problem we have is actually we went from 34 seized animals in 2013-14 to 981 animals seized last year.
What? Is this? So we are seizing for cruelty or neglect or
Or
something.
neglect or abandonment or
Vastly bigger numbers.
And what are they? Are they dogs, cats? Are they like
Yes,
farm animals?
yes.
What's the biggest numbers?
mostly domestic animals.
Yeah.
The majority are domestics.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not making it fun. Am
No,
I?
it's not your fault. I'm curious. We're going to get funny later, don't worry.
Okay. So it's mostly
What's
domestic.
going
animals.
on here? What's
Well,
going
what's
on?
going
part
on?
of it, part of it
Is
is we
this around
changed
the
our
world?
protocols. We used to just really focus
Okay.
on education, but if you go back to the same place 6 times and that dog's still skinny, they're never going to take care of that dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at some point, you need to take them off it and say, look, somebody else can be a much better owner than you are to this dog. Where before we just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. So it's like we put a
So
stop
how
to
do your
that.
powers work? Can you like RSPCA back off? You hold up your gun, you take the animal away. You have to get the police.
No.
Scully
We
and
actually have
Mulder
the
go in?
power
Yes.
to do everything from search warrants. We're not armed, so our inspectors are not armed. They're fully licensed. We do the full gamut of animal investigations to see what happens. We only seize maybe 3% of the animals' complaints actually lead to a seizure.
Okay. Right.
So it's not significant, but we did have some pretty big hoarding cases last year that people would be aware of in the newspaper.
Did you say hoarding? Like large numbers?
Yeah. So we had 4 cases with over 90 animals coming in at one time. Yeah. And so that's what also lifted those stats for last year. But yeah, maybe we're
The mission of most people working the RSPCA would be animal focused, but how are you dealing? I mean, there's got to be a psychological focus to dealing with that, and you know, there's going to be some trauma and a lot of other things going on when you go in to seize 90 animals.
You mean for the RSPCA workers?
For the RSPCA workers, what's the strategy here? I mean, your routine stuff where you're saying, okay, that dog's skinny, you need to feed it more. You know, that's a vet educational thing, or some of the stuff where you've got vets and you're helping a sick animal. I get that. But when you've got 90 sick animals, you know, what's the team of people that go in there? You must have...
Look, I've even sent my EA because we need more hands on deck. And it's not uncommon for her to be one of the team to put on the gumboots and run out there and help bring in the load. It's really interesting because you never know. I mean, Chris the sheep all over media, that took up my week. Didn't realize I was going to be the publicity manager for Chris. The publicity manager for Chris the sheep last week.
Have people heard of Chris the sheep?
Yeah, I said that.
I hope so. I had friends in South Africa telling me they saw me on CNN.
There you go.
The only thing I saw about Chris the sheep was someone bitching that it wasn't as cool a name as Shrek the sheep from Scotland.
I heard that too.
That's
but
all
they
I
had,
heard.
Tony Abbott. I heard that one.
Tony Abbott.
I heard Andrew Barr. But I liked Ed Sheeran. That was my favorite. Yeah. So that one took. We first sent out someone to go see if they could find him when we first heard about that. So one person went out on the day.
He'd be the big sheep.
The big sheep, yeah. But that's a really big...
Like all the others.
That's
not that one.
All the others.
Mulligan
Which can't
Flats
racial profile, so.
there's a lot of acreage out there. It takes a while.
I'm not a sheep expert too. That was
Yeah. Yeah, stick to the experts here. So we had one person go out there on their day off just to see if they could spot him. We couldn't locate him, but then we were able to spot him with the help of the finder. And it took 5 of my staff members, including our senior inspector, a vet, 3 other staff members, and the finder, to carry him back.
But hang on. Why
That's a lot of people.
But this is maybe I don't know enough. But this is like on a farm, and
farms have fences.
Yeah, okay.
You got to try to get the truck as close as you can, but they did have to go for a hike.
How big are we talking?
He was a big guy.
Bigger
like
than
a
this?
bushranger hidden in a
Well,
cave.
let's just say that one photo that everybody knows about I took because we had Channel 7 in there. It was like this window of opportunity to get a video camera in there. And Channel 7 just happened to say, "Can we come?" And I said, "Well, he's just coming off." We had sedated him to make it a little less stressful.
He's got the wild eyes.
Yeah, that's right. Just to sedate him a bit. He was just coming out of that, so he wasn't so stressed. I said, "Okay, you got like half an hour. Come out now." And the cameraman couldn't get anything because he would bury his head in the fence. He didn't want to see anybody. And then he turned around at one moment, just looked right at me, and I just went this with my phone. And that's the photo that everybody has seen.
So you got the Pulitzer Prize shot.
Do I get a prize?
I think you do. Well, you will, but not for that.
Well,
We'll give you a prize,
someone
but-
else has tried to take credit for that picture. But
Brian,
he was huge. I mean, he was like this big. We couldn't get him through the paddock door. We had to squeeze him through the door because literally the paddock door was like this wide. We had him on a stretcher.
But wool is squishy.
I know, thank goodness.
This is after squishing.
That was why we managed to get him through the door, is because he was squishy. And old wool is just as squishy. I saw new wool. When was that? It was literally that.
Squishy is an official agricultural sheep term. So because I know you've been talking about Chris the sheep a lot.
Yeah.
Do people criticise you mostly as in the organisation, or do they thank you mostly? Like, what's it
Canberra's
look like?
been really good to us. It's funny because on Facebook, we often let dialogue. You guys have been great, thanks. The dialogue on Facebook, we'll have, we put a good example. We'll put a message out there about don't feed the water birds bread. Feed it like lettuce or something.
Those big kooky things with the large feet.
The
Ducks.
Ducks, swans.
Anything that lives a
Water
bird
birds.
in
I
water.
thought water birds were only the one.
I'm not a biologist, but that was an easy one.
I studied psychology. People, other. So water birds, if they're a real thing.
Don't touch any animals, okay? So there was a massive debate on that. That's the great thing about Canberra. We just let it open. We told them our view on it, and it's true because we have vets that have to deal with the aftermath when wildlife comes into
Really
us.
bready poo sort of thing.
They get botulism. They get really sick.
Oh,
They
that's
get
worse.
botulism.
That's
Yeah,
worse. Okay.
yeah, they do. So people don't realize this, but our vets are the ones that see these animals, so we know what we're talking about. But there's this whole debate about people saying, well, I've been feeding them for years and they look fine to me. And then
They also tag the animal.
And
like
also,
I
I got
know.
to think about climate change
I know,
as well.
I know. And then people will come in and say, well, there's a lot of research about this, and they'll tag, different hyperlinks and
good old
stuff like
facts, they
that.
really
So,
help.
that's Canberra for you, though. Canberra wants a debate, and I think we've been trying to be as transparent and open about the good things and the bad things that we see. We show the cruelty cases now, we don't hide it.
What are the nice things? What are the worthy, bestest things? Give
We
me,
had-
a dozen, 2 dozen.
I had 5 puppies come in today, and, once again, an unwanted litter, but who doesn't love a puppy?
There are a couple of people.
They're wrong and evil because
So, those 5 puppies came in. They're 2 weeks old, so we're going to put them in foster care because you got to be fed every couple hours. The day before, someone brought in 2 little kittens they found at the tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so the sad part is that these were unwanted animals. The good part is we can do something.
Well, everyone wants a puppy and a kitten, don't they? They don't want a dog or a cat.
It is harder to get the adult
Yeah.
animals out, that's true. But I find you don't know their personality really till they get to be a little bit older. In fact, an adult cat is, and to me personally, is a much more attractive pet than a kitten because you already know their personality. Where a kitten, you don't know what you're going to get.
No.
do you
all
feel
fangs.
working there that it can be a bit of a sob story? That you, for yourself,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
every day you see yet another story of
Yeah.
cats found at the tip, and that's great that they were found,
Yeah.
but it's awful that they ended up there.
Look, we have to look after our mental health as much. The big thing is resilience and resilience training. We actually do stuff like that. Investing a lot more in training this year for that reason. And certainly there are a lot of broken hearts and a lot of people that cannot stay in the industry very long.
Is it a time-limited thing? Even though, it is, from the outside, seems like a hyper-worthy industry. You're doing a good for society and good, well, beyond society for, the animal world, but it burns people up.
It depends on the person. I have managers that have been there 11, 13 years in the animal industry, and it's something that they can do. There's others that can't even last a day. I've had an inspector that quit after a day, but he saw something they could not live with, and it just tore him up. So, yeah, I guess it just depends on the individual. And we question for that. We need people that recognize we cannot save every animal. We are a shelter that does not put down for space. I hate the word no-kill shelter because I think that's completely false. There is no such thing as a no-kill shelter out there. We will put animals down, but the reason why we put them down is for humane reasons, because of severe medical reasons. Like we certainly will put out a deaf dog. We'll put out we adopted out a 15-year-old dog the other day.
Oh, that's good.
So we'll adopt an old dog out, an animal with medical conditions, if we think we can adopt them out. But we'll also put down an animal if we think it's going to be, have behavioral reasons that they're going to be dangerous. We cannot rehome them.
So what can we do then? I mean, if you had the magic RSPCA wand, what
Yeah.
would be the big thing? What if we could fix one thing, if that's possible?
And it's a
for you to
magical
answer?
wand. You don't
Yeah.
have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't
a
have to
practical-
spread. There's no
it's
spreadsheet
not,
here.
I put in a grant application.
It's a magical wand. It's not only a small cannon.
Yeah.
It's also a magical
I
wand.
tell you, we have really big plans right now, but the number one constraint at the moment is funding. It is severely
So
funding.
really, it's the old-fashioned more cash.
It is. We are so, like I said, I cannot touch reserves, or that basically says we went into bankruptcy. That means we cannot have a bad month. We're that close still. Even though last year we had a profit, thank goodness, the first time in a very long time, we haven't rebuilt our reserves at all, and we can't do anything about location. I mean, my vet team, I have an incredible vet team. They are working out of an old house. And we have some of the absolute best homing statistics and lowest euthanasia rates in the world, not just in Australia, but in the world. And we managed to do it out of an old house with asbestos. So,
Hang on.
There you go.
Asbestos. I won't have that.
yeah.
How do you? So your staff wear
No,
Or
as
hazmat.
long as
Or
you don't,
hazmat.
as long as you don't
drill into
try to move walls and stuff, you're fine.
all good.
Yeah.
Don't lick the walls.
Yeah.
So it still
But
comes
look
down
at-
to money.
But what that's saying to me is that the world out there, now the world out there, that that we do need to, when we're thinking about worthy charities and worthy
Yeah.
people to donate to, that this is a.
Which is why we've actually put a lock on the door downstairs, and anyone who wants to
This is-
leave
this
or
is
go to
a
the
fun
bathroom, gold coins won't cut it. We need notes.
I forgot the donation
RSPCA.
dog.
No pressure.
But look, on a note of very high worthiness. I think we can all think about that a lot more. We can think about how the world deals with animals and where our money goes to, and hopefully a little bit more of it goes in the right way.
And we're doing a good job so far, so that's awesome
Look,
to hear as well.
Cameron's been
ACT is doing a
fantastic.
great job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tammy.
Please thank
Thanks,
Tammy
guys.
very much.
Trophy man. Trophy man. We have a present for her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got a present.
Cannot buy that. If you, well, look, but you're a charity or a not-for-profit, so
we
you
won't
are
charge
allowed
you.
to sell that on the internet. So, you know, just
If you wait till we're dead, that's going to be worth a while.
literally dollars.
Highest bidder, right?
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tammy.
guys.
That's the first half. Please enjoy the bar, mingle.
We're going to
back
have
in
a
half an
20-minute
hour.
break-ish.
Ish.
20 minutes. Everyone's doing stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, so we can get the second half underway. And we'll have to make some room for our host to get through in just a second, so get it happening. And I think that's enough of me talking. Please, everyone go wild and welcome back to the stage your hosts, Rod and Will.
I feel like I got a lot of equipment here.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Will. He's a journalist now.
Yeah. Strike a pose.
You want to hear from guests, but we're not going to let you because we want to hear from you first. We're going to play a game and you can win some prizes. Does anyone like
Lots
prizes?
and lots of glorious prizes.
We have like more than 2 prizes. Show them the big one.
Prizes
Show them the grand
that
prize.
money cannot buy.
No, money cannot buy. No,
What is this? What do we have here?
that is a very worthy solar-powered outdoor dog light. Its eyes are lights, at the
See,
top of its head's a solar panel.
It's unworthy to use electricity to light your garden. You need a solar-powered light.
You're a tool. If you use electricity to light your garden other than solar-powered...
And this has the
you're
dual
despicable.
feature of having doggishness as well.
There was a cat option. I got the dog one.
We got a dog audience.
Do we? No.
Yeah, they're a dog audience, mostly dogs.
So there's going to be prizes, but
So
first
how do we do this?
we have to win them. We're going to play the KindaThinky's wacky worthy words game. And it starts like this. We're going to have a practice run. Are you ready to practice? Yeah. Who doesn't want to work now?
Everybody, please stand up.
If you want to play, stand up.
You don't have to play. If you don't want to, you can like... Okay, practice question.
So what happens is, we're going to tell you which hand to raise if you want to choose an option. If you get your question wrong, you have to sit down. People, watch the people next to you because there are bloody cheaters out there.
That would be unworthy to cheat tonight.
No cheating tonight.
And we know we've raised the stakes with this prize, so...
So the practice question, are you ready? Who is more worthy? A, left hand, Mother Teresa. If you think it's Mother Teresa, raise your left hand.
Right
B,
hand.
Adolf Hitler. C, they're both about the same. That means you leave both hands down. Mother Teresa, raise your left hand. Adolf Hitler, raise your right hand. If you think they're about the same, raise neither hand.
Okay, everyone's got left hands?
So it's B, Adolf Hitler. So everyone else has to
It's
sit
not,
down.
it's
no,
not.
it's
not.
Mother
That's your
Teresa.
practice question.
So do you get the rules? I know it's complicated. Should we do the real thing?
Okay, we're ready to go into the real thing.
The real
let's
questions.
play. Okay, who is the bigger philanthropist? We've got
Wait. Do you know what philanthropist means?
money giver person. Money giver person. Okay, we got number one. Left hand, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, or Imomali Rahmon of Tajikistan.
That's right hand. Left hand Zuckerberg, right hand Emil Mali.
Okay, the correct answer is Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. Please sit down. So in 2013, Mark Zuckerberg gave $991 million. Imomali Rahmon was a Tajikistan dictator who shut down YouTube because of an embarrassing vid of him dancing at his son's wedding. So, not a philanthropist.
No.
No, not a philanthropist.
Okay, next one. Was this Taylor Swift or Oprah? Do you know who they are? Taylor Swift or Oprah? Left hand's Taylor, right hand's Oprah. This person sends fans gifts from all over the world, including makeup, clothing, embroidered pillows, tea sets, and kimonos from Japan. Where else are they going to come from? And they arrive with thoughtful handwritten notes. She even personally delivered a toy Mercedes to a little boy in Connecticut. Is it Taylor, right hand? Left hand, is it Oprah?
You've changed. You changed.
Ah, whatever. Taylor left. Taylor left. Oprah right. It's Taylor. She's adorable.
All right, this is a bit more of a deeper question. Which act is more worthy? Left hand, sacrifice yourself for a loved one, or right hand, sacrifice a loved one for a stranger?
It's not what you do, it's what's more worthy.
So, left hand, sacrifice yourself for a loved one, and right hand, sacrifice a loved one for a stranger.
Which bastards put their right hands up? How many of those are there? Who are we going to go with? We're going to go with the
to be honest,
majority.
anyone that's sacrificing anyone else other than themselves, that's not worthy.
Dead
Sit
rubber,
down.
dead rubber.
Sit down.
Okay, what about this? Worthless quotes by US politicians, because we've seen enough shitty quotes from our own.
How are we doing it here?
Let's go US. Are there anyone left? Who's still in the game?
There's a few over here. It's hard to tell over that
Some
side.
are on tall stools. We can't tell the difference. Okay, how about this one? Is this true or false? Did a US politician make this worthless quote? I personally find the word alien offensive when applied to individuals, especially children. An alien to me is someone from outer space.
How is that worthy?
If it's true, left hand. Did a politician actually say that? If it's false, right hand. It is true. That was Democratic.
Jared, that was no. You were going left eventually.
That was Florida Representative Frederica Wilson, and she's a Democrat, not a Republican.
Okay, if you were rebuilding the world after an apocalypse,
And we may be. It could happen.
which are the more worthy jobs according to the zombie novel World War Z?
Which is our reference material for
Yeah, of
zombie
course.
apocalypse.
I think it was
apocalypse?
first published in Nature and then
Yes.
as a popular fiction.
And then Brad Pitt in the movie.
Yeah. Hunters, left hand, or farmers, right hand?
Hunters, left hand. Farmers, right hand.
If you're rebuilding the world after an apocalypse, which are the more worthy jobs? Hunters, left hand, farmers, right hand. Hunters is correct. Left hand.
How many hunters? Who's left? Wave your hands around. There's
Okay,
a
we
few
got
left.
3 people left. Okay,
Shall we go with a philanthropist again?
yeah.
Who's the bigger philanthropist? Is it A, Sir Elton John? Anyone who doesn't know who Elton John is, you're too young to be here, please check their ID. Or is it B, Sir William Elphinstone, who is also a British lord and a former general? A, left hand, Sir Elton John, most generous philanthropist. B, right hand, Sir William Elphinstone. It's Sir Elton John who donated 8.92% of his earnings, equating to £24.1 million in 2014.
Whereas Sir William Elphinstone,
Was the first and only man to lose an entire British army in 1842
was it behind the couch?
in the famous retreat from Kabul. It's been called the worst British military disaster until the fall of Singapore exactly a century later.
Bad year for the Brits.
And if any of you like the Flashman novels, George Bernard
Okay,
Fraser.
what do we got? We got 2 people left?
No. Who's
2
left?
people left. Okay.
Everyone wins a prize. We have a first and a second.
Oh.
It's not
Well,
over.
no, we need to. Okay.
No, we haven't decided.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win a prize. You're gonna get first to get the prize. Okay. So again, if you're rebuilding the world after a zombie apocalypse, which are more worthy, hookers or brewers?
Left hand hookers. Right hand brewers.
Okay, you're both wrong.
It's brewers.
It's brewers.
Because apparently, according to the record of note for the apocalypse, sometimes you need, in capital letters, a drink. We don't make the rules.
Okay, let's go back to this one. Seeing as
We have a tiebreaker?
Well, then we've got this one here. Another worthless quote by a US politician,
Oh, we do
or
need
perhaps not. I think incest can be handled as a family matter within the family. Did a US politician say that? Left hand is true, right hand is false. He did.
It's true. Both
And-
of you come up, though. There's a prize for both.
Let's guess the state. Anyone want to guess the state? No? Did someone say Arkansas? And anyone want to guess the party? The Republicans. You get a prize.
So, dog.
First prize.
The dog. The worthy dog. 2 person we never met. And I think...
And second prize, I believe you get to choose.
Choose the
You
book.
get the Teaching of Swimming, an Australian approach.
Signed, or at least introduced by Laurie.
None of the teachers in here confirmed or not confirmed as pedophiles.
None.
The complete step-by-step guide to home sewing.
And to be clear, that one is signed by the sister of one of the authors, as far as we're aware.
No, it's this one.
Oh, this one. One of them.
Thank you. Give him a clap.
Very worthy.
Well, we'll keep the teaching of Australian swimming.
Because we're going to learn how to teach swimming.
Swim.
That's
Throw them in.
Throw 'em in the
Like
water.
the first page says throw them in.
We're back to the
and then
concrete.
There's like, go and have a beer. Sorry?
No, it's not fin
No,
swimming.
no,
This
it's-
is not an Armenian book.
It's Australian proper swimming.
So we're going to go to a guest now because we've done enough damage for one evening. We're going to talk to Aidan Byrne. Aidan Byrne, who is also a professor, is the CEO of the Australian Research Council. Has anyone heard of the Australian Research Council?
I haven't.
So 3 yeses. Everyone else complete strangers. 4 yeses. He also used to be the Dean of Science at the Australian National University, so kind of our boss, but not anymore, so it doesn't matter. He was once a physicist and he was also once a Kiwi. I'm not sure which one is weirder, but he was one of both. And if he doesn't know what worthlessness and worthiness is in research, no one does. So we're going to call him up here. We don't know where he's gone.
Make him welcome.
There he is. Let's bring the chair nice and close.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, I'm not interested in research money, but if I were...
We'll just sit nice
Seriously,
and
now we're
close.
squeezing over this way. Has this been an instruction from on high?
I've never met this stranger before.
No.
So what do you do? Oh, good timing. So he drinks.
I have a drink and I give away money.
Everyone's going to win
what-
tonight.
just like-
well,
you
the
do more worthy
RSPCA
than
needs
that.
money.
They said they did.
But only to universities, I have to say. So I'm sorry.
Limited pockets. Like your
Very
wallet's got a
limited,
little
very-
lock on it.
very
a little
limited,
lock.
very
when you're
limited, yeah.
About to give money out to the wrong person, then it shuts down. It says, "No."
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what does it mean to be the CEO of the ARC? What does it mean? Does it mean anything? Is it worthy? Is it good? What do you do? You don't know.
Well, it's a long answer. I'm
I want the
afraid.
short answer.
The short answer is I oversee a process of giving away money to universities, government money to universities.
I like the phrase giving away.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Not even meritoriously awarding, just giving away.
Giving away, yeah.
It stands there with
For anything. I just toss it out there. Yeah, run a ballot and give it away. Yeah.
Do you like it?
Oh, it's fascinating.
It's
Really,
fascinating.
It is. It's really
That's
good.
the. Do you like it? It's very interesting.
It's very
Ultimate. No, but to be fair, that was ultimate
Well,
interesting.
it's better than applying for grants. I'll give you that. Right?
I'm like magnanimous.
Yeah. See, complete agreement. Couldn't be better. Yeah.
And do you prefer it to being a physicist?
Oh, that's a toughie.
Isn't
You know,
it?
that
Isn't
really, it's just chalk and cheese. It's so different. Physicist is in your being. You know, it colours everything you do.
And being the ARC CEO.
No, go back. You said fascinating. You said
fascinating,
fascinating.
yeah.
So, what about it is fascinating? Why is it a fascinating? I mean, you said giving away money. That doesn't hurt.
It might.
But you know, but you don't expect that to be fascinating.
Oh well, what you're looking at, because I've spent longer than you guys, not quite put together, but almost in universities,
Close.
right?
Yeah.
And so you spend your life in universities looking how the research system works. What I get to see as the CEO of the ARC is how the whole of the Australian system works. And you get a little bit of a chance to try and make it better. And that's quite an extraordinary responsibility. And it
that
makes the
is.
job very interesting. And you're trying all the time to spend actually a little bit of money with the greatest effect.
So
and that's
it's
quite
not necessarily
challenging.
so you're spending money, you're giving out money every year, but what you're trying to do is give money out better.
Can we be, how much? How much in the last round of money?
It's around, $700 million,
Give or take.
give or take.
Would it
yeah.
be better if you could say it's a bill? Like it's $1 billion? Like, would you
Yeah,
like to be able to say that?
yeah.
That you could say it's billion with a P?
Look, except it's a tricky thing because I'd like, much more money to do it.
You would. We're going to get to that later.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't answer it now then.
We're going to get to more donations later.
Yeah. Well, more
The
donations.
RSPCA
More donations
might
from
tap
everyone.
into
Yes,
RSPCA.
just
No, when the
give
RSPCA
100 million to the SPCA.
So
and the
700
rest
million sounds like a shit ton of money. Like it does, doesn't it? Sounds like a lot of money.
I could build another deck. I'd be.
You
there
could
would be.
employ
You've
someone
got a
this
good
time.
deck, a gold-plated deck, have you?
Seriously, I would do that.
But it sounds like a lot of money. I'm hearing maybe it isn't.
It's about average, compared to countries around the world, like Australia. So, moderately developed countries would spend around the amount of money we do in Australia on research. And in Australia, there are two funding councils. There's the Australian Research Council, which of course is the most important,
And those other
And
because
then
we
the
fund
evil
every
one, the
and
horrible
there's
one.
the other one, which is the the National Health and Medical
That
Research.
was amazing. That was a very fast way of saying
He's done that before. They do all that trivial shit like looking after our health and stuff.
Yeah, and they get
Yes,
now
okay.
more money than we do. I don't understand
Really? Just
why.
for health?
Yeah, just for health. So we spend as much on health as we do on everything else combined. And I used to be a physicist. Did you mention that?
It may have
You,
come
you
up,
did, yeah.
So I reckon that's terrible.
It is terrible, yeah.
I want my health first. I can't do physics if I'm
Well,
dead.
everyone does. Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, but I want a bigger society. I want to know about the mysteries of the
exactly.
cosmos.
The mystery, the mysteries of the universe.
But if we're all sick and
you want
like
your
cancer,
mobile
man.
phone.
But
you
if
know,
we're
you
all
want
sick and
other things.
dying, we can't use any of those things.
No, hang on. He said mobile phone. I want my mobile
Yeah,
phone.
if you want your
Even when
mobile
you're
phone.
dead, you want to be buried with it.
Don't be throwing cancer. I want my mobile phone. That's physics.
On the way here, Will realised he'd forgotten his mobile
Yes,
phone.
he did. Completely did.
And the mood in the car, I could, like, this icy chill, this sickening, I can hear his stomach. Like, I've never been so scared in my
I literally
life.
looked to see if I had my pants on still.
And the smell of urine was in the air. So to be fair, that is very important.
That's the thing that physics has done to me. They've made me addicted to this. That's
Exactly,
physics.
yeah, it is.
So
Well, it's probably
And
psychology.
you're funding that research, therefore you... But so surely, you've seen it from the inside. You've been. Did you win many grants as a physicist?
Not enough. No,
Not,
no,
not, how
not
many is
enough.
that? 10, 12, 15?
No, probably fewer than that, actually.
So 9.
Well, I'd have to add it up, but it's
would you
around
be
that
really
number.
good at writing a grant now? Like
I'd be much
you'd
better.
nail it.
I'd be much better than I was.
You'd
I
be
would
like,
hope so.
There's like a
But
code word.
again,
Is there a code word?
again,
Like you say, like Magda Szubanski or something like that.
and the
Möbius
people-
stripping, and then boom, you get the money.
yeah. You just got to find it.
So there's no magic.
So you now, something we did a couple of months ago is to put on our website all of the things that we funded. So you can type all the words one by one and figure out how much we funded.
So there would be the keyword would show up,
Yeah.
like Magda, over and over again.
And you just find the one that has the maximum hits and just put it in your grant and away you go.
Keyword generator.
It's easy.
There you go.
There are a lot of people listening.
I'm thinking
at home.
ARC.
I'm thinking some sort of
everyone.
climate terrorism something.
Yeah. You can test it. Test
Twitter's
that
just lit up.
hypothesis.
We have a lot of followers.
Yeah,
not
that's
many
right.
followers.
Yeah.
But surely, like, you've got to be in that classic position where, or at least your minions, your most senior minions, making decisions
We don't
between
have very
worthy
many
and worthy.
minions.
There's only 8 people working at the ARC, is
Yeah,
that
well,
right?
just about. Yeah.
8. That many.
Yeah.
You have a lot of paperwork.
We're the leanest funding agency in the world. You know that, don't you?
Really?
A lean CEO.
Yeah. Well, not that
But
lean.
you're efficient though. Like when I see you, I think efficiency.
Yeah,
so
right. Good. I'm glad you think
Good
that.
with the filing. You know?
But surely you get
I look
stuck.
at me
though.
or him. I don't think I think robust.
Yeah, robust.
Yeah, strong, resilient. But in terms of... I'm very resilient. I'm still here. So in terms of making decisions, you obviously have to make the hard calls, or at least someone...
No, I don't make the hard calls.
Someone has
See,
to
that's
make the
why
hard
my
calls
job's
for
easy. We get panels, we get people from the academic community to make
heard
the
of
hard
those.
calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make the hard
They'll
calls.
put anyone on those, I've heard.
No, they won't.
They'll let anyone
Have
be
you
a
been
reviewer.
on? Have you been on?
Close enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll have you know, I'm
Case
a
point.
reviewer of international standing, so I have a little faith in your organisation.
There's a meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning to fix that.
Quick word about that guy.
Yeah, that's right.
But surely you get into a situation where you go, what an awesome idea, what an awesome idea, what an awesome idea, and we have enough for one of them.
Who
How
solves
does that manage?
So that's the problem, and that's why we use. There is no simple way of doing that. I mean, a simple way of doing that is to chuck all the applicants in a pot and take out marbles one by one.
I thought you did.
No, we don't do
No,
that.
not
That's
publicly,
one.
not
That's
publicly.
one way. That's one way to do it.
Not
and
the new guy in
and that would give a uniform distribution, but it wouldn't give the best outcomes. So you've got to figure out a
So
way to
what
get
do
the
you do?
best
So
outcomes.
you've got a great project in the humanities, a great project in physics, and a great project in a social science, and they're the last projects.
And
you know?
other.
The others have all been funded, so they're the last thing.
So what we actually do in that regard is we have fairly large discipline spread in our groups, and we have about, in our biggest round, 5 different groups, and we roughly apportion the amount of money depending on the rough demand for that group. So everyone gets about the same share, and then actually it's a competitive process. And
Well, we know that.
I didn't. Yeah,
We know
it
that.
is.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but you're using the fact that it's a competition to try and pick the most worthy grants, and that's unfortunate because in this competition there are losers, and there is not enough money to give it to everyone. But it's a mechanism to try and get the best outcomes.
And do you run more with the idea of funding a few projects really well rather than just dribbling a bit of money to heaps of little projects?
Yeah. So again, when I came into the ARC, there was a circumstance where people solved the problem with increased demand, more people asking for money, and not more money going into the system by just giving less money to every grant. And actually, that's a crazy system.
$1 for every researcher.
Well, yeah, and the Canadian...
But we're all winning.
And the Canadian...
Yeah, you're good
And everyone can say, won the ARC.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the Canadians tried a scheme like that in the past. So they used to give a small amount of money to every researcher.
And look what happened to Canada.
And what happened there?
They've changed it because they don't feel they get
what was the
the
thing
best
that didn't work?
outcomes. Well, it's just you spread the money too thin, so you can't actually tackle the really, really hard problems. There's just not enough money to tackle the hard problems.
So what then is the measure of worth that your committees will look at when they're deciding between different applications?
So I think most academics have a very strong understanding of what high quality research, coming back to the aspect that Linda talked about before, it's about quality, and within the academic community, I think there's a really good sense of what high quality is. Within most communities, people do understand what's high quality, actually.
But isn't quality one of those words like teamwork?
But
Everyone
like,
says,
but
should it be high quality? We all go, yep.
Yeah, but even other things like art or sport or anything, people do understand. It's the old line. People don't know anything about, but they know what they look like.
I
People know
Yeah,
quality.
I
know when I
reckon
see
you're
it.
right.
Yeah.
I reckon you're right entirely. I think people have a great understanding of what quality is. We might disagree, but we know we can understand why that person says that's high quality, and amongst us all we can come to an understanding. But we all get confused when all of a sudden there's quantities get thrown in there. When we go, okay,
Those numbers.
these are great ideas for research, but then that professor has 500 papers, and that senior lecturer has whatever.
One.
Yeah, but I come back. We're talking very academic too, and,
Yeah,
and
of
I
course,
completely
but-
agree. And we have another exercise we do, which is the evaluation of research in the broad, which is actually an evaluation about quality and not quantity. And again, when we talk to our panels and give them the instructions, we do talk about, it's not just a numbers game. It is not just a numbers game. It's
It
about
is not just a numbers
trying
game.
to identify.
Is it a numbers game?
So what you're trying to do is to identify which of the researchers with a precious resource are going to deliver the outcomes that matter and have the highest surety that they're going to give good outcomes.
So am I hearing correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you will,
No.
it still comes down to gut.
Yeah.
Expert gut?
Expert gut.
But
Not
expert
some
gut
random
is,
gut.
no, it's rarefied. Like they've drunk fine wine, they've
They
read
have, they
fine
have.
books. They
The best cigars.
Exactly. Their guts are great guts.
They're covered in
not-
silk.
No.
But
Yeah.
it inevitably has to be, doesn't it? There's got to be some gut feeling of worthwhileness, doesn't there?
Yeah, no, but it's
'Cause it's not about quantity.
It's
I
not.
heard from
No,
a source
it's not.
recently.
It's not just
Yeah.
about quantity. It's actually trying
so this is-
to get a sense of. Well, there's another aspect too, is whether the research is actually going to be important for some reason. Important, and I'm trying to not use words like
You're in trouble now,
beneficial
right?
or impact.
No, you can do that. Oh, is that would that be on camera? You're not
That
allowed
will
to
be
use
on
those
camera.
words.
No, I can use those words, but
So
people
what's
get too obsessed with words like benefit and impact.
That means doing something out there as
But
opposed to...
only doing something that has a direct and relevant meaning, because with
You mean
with-
only?
only, and I mean only, because actually research you have to think in sort of three stages. You've got to think in the short term, you've got to think in the medium term, and the long term. And if you say we're only going to support research that has an immediate benefit to society now, today,
So political cycle.
whatever,
Yeah.
or shorter,
Yeah.
you'll miss the opportunity to take the really important initiatives that may take 20 years, 30 years, 50 years
And
to
do you
embed.
guys have the freedom to make those decisions that you can say this could be a 40-year thing? We may
So,
have to
so,
wait.
so we vest that process in the expert panels, yes.
And so they can say, you know what,
they
it's
can
not
say
a-
this thing could really change the world. Yeah.
So we're
Do
going to
you
give it
trust them
time.
when they say that?
Yeah,
I mean, is
no,
that-
I do trust them. But
He's not going to say
but it is
no,
it is a change. No,
Okay,
it is.
They're all turds.
Yeah, they're all hopeless. No,
This is
you know,
my
what
chance
I'd
to
rather do is make up the list myself, right? That would be a lot easier.
But
That'd be
that's
cheaper
an
too.
inherently
A
hard
hell
thing
of a lot
to do.
cheaper,
But
yeah.
that's a hard thing to say. This is going to be a great impact in 40 years' time. This is going
Yeah,
to.
no, it's almost
how
impossible.
do
It's
they
almost
do it?
impossible. And it's a big
Expert
challenge.
gut.
It's a big challenge all around the world, and I attend these meetings of people like me, boring heads of funding councils.
I'm just imagining like being
Yeah,
John.
Being
Nutt,
John
yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
being Aiden.
That's what
Byrne.
it's like. They all
You go
look like
inside
me.
the cupboard and you go into.
And they're all ex-physicists too, which is really interesting. And a real anxiety that funding agencies have that they can lapse into being conservative, right? They're only funding stuff that
Risk-free.
risk-free, de-risking, and it's a real challenge to take risks because I'm giving away $700 million of government, your money, taxpayer money,
But if you want to take a risk,
to support academics
I
like
can,
you
I can
guys.
help out with that.
And look at what it buys you.
Yeah, and look at what it buys me.
We never
and I've
got a grant for this. Yeah.
Yeah, hopeful.
If everyone answers a survey, he will give us $700 million. That's pretty much how it works.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's on
That's
film.
crowdsourcing. That's different.
I'm more curious about why you left New Zealand. Did they chase you out, or you chose to leave because you thought there were better deals?
You actually said something wrong. I never actually was a Kiwi, you know.
Were you?
No.
But it's the way you speak.
Yeah, no. I grew up in New Zealand, but I actually snuck into Australia without a passport. So don't tell anyone that.
I promise.
So
Back in the old
there was this interesting period that I'd
Interesting what?
period. See.
Very hard to understand.
So I'd come into Australia and
Interesting
I didn't have a passport, you see, because I wasn't born in New Zealand and I wasn't born in
lucky
Australia.
not in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, that's better.
You would have been border forced.
So yes, I grew up in New Zealand.
But you're not New Zealandish.
No,
You're a man of no nation by the sounds
Well,
of
I
this.
was Irish at that point. Yeah, with a name like Aidan Byrne, what could I be?
Aidan or Byrne, you should be all Byrne.
To be sure. To be sure.
So you didn't flee New Zealand. And did you get to the point where, with your physics, do you get to do any more research?
No, I don't.
Like, not at all?
No, not at all.
And how's that feel?
Well, I do a different job that's interesting. Did I say that word before?
You did?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, you said fascinating, actually.
Oh, it's fascinating. Same
Better.
thing. Yeah, you know. It's
So you hate
incredible.
it, right?
No,
Not
I
doing
love it.
research.
No, I actually,
no,
oh,
not
do
saying
I
hate
hate
your job.
No,
Saying
no. I
not
used, to,
doing
I, used to, I
research.
used to love research. Research
Yeah.
is one of the extraordinary careers that one could have.
Go back to the tinkering idea. You said before that in your time as CEO that you would hope to tinker the Australian research system just a little bit to
Yeah.
improve the what A would you like to improve about it, and what as in what goal would you like to get to, and what would you do to do that?
So lots of things there. I mean, there's a limited resource, so you've got to make sure that the choices you make are as robust as possible, that you can get as much as you can.
What you mean is by that defend the shit out of the decision? Is that the technical
Or last?
definition?
No. You're always going to get to a point where you've got to make a decision about whether this grant here or this grant here is going to get funding. And, you know, at the end of the day, there's very little difference between those.
Yeah.
So you've got to try and have enough of the right sort of information that you're making the right decisions, that's not disadvantaging anyone where you can, that's properly taking into account, say, for women, career breaks they might have had, all of those sorts of things. You've got to try and get right to get the best set of outcomes every year. And it's really hard. We give, you know, I make the comment that the ARC is the agency of disappointment.
You know, that's not the first time I've heard that.
It is, you know, it's true though, so that
Of course.
of the people that come to us for money, you know, more than 4 out of 5 do not get money.
So
you know?
4.5 out of 5.
Yes, it's you know 4.3 out of 5, but you know that's a technicality. But that means that a lot of people are spending a lot of time doing stuff that has no return. So one of the things that I'm very keen on doing is making sure that process is as simple as possible and people waste as little time as possible doing that. So that's about changing the whole systems, about improving, streamlining, all of those things as well.
So what would be a great amount of money? And I don't mean infinity, but like really, if you went to Senate estimates, whatever they call that stuff, and they said, how much do you need? You went $4.5 billion.
Or using international examples, what can we argue for?
Well, that's kind of tricky because actually...
No, magical time.
Magical time that if you doubled the money for the ARC, I would be confident that we would still be funding high quality research.
And more of it.
Well, it would fund more of it, yes.
So there would be a tap-out point, though. Surely
Yeah,
we
no,
get
there
to
is, there
triple,
is, there
quadruple
is.
the money, and we're funding
No,
shit
no.
research. Like it's
No, what actually
Well, we need
happens
shit
is...
research.
What happens is so there was an interesting experiment a few years ago.
Did the
They go-
Canadians try this too?
No, this is
Where
this
is the shit research
this is in Australia. This is in Australia. So,
Okay,
so you know the
Head
amount...
of ARC talks about
the-
shit Australian research.
the-
Just carry on.
The amount of money for medical research has actually gone up quite markedly over the years.
So they're trying this.
It used to be that the medical research community through the NHMRC got less than the money through all research through the ARC. But more money over time, because as you said, they're more important, goes to medical research.
Well, they are.
Yet the success rate in medical research has gone down.
Too many of them now.
Yeah, so
They smell the money, they've run to it, yeah.
more money drives behaviour. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I've heard that.
So it's kind of tricky to say what's the right amount of money.
Really?
Yes, no, it's true.
So we're
if
trapped
you
in a cycle. We'll
you
attract too
are,
many
you are.
rats.
So just stop applying.
Oh, done.
Yeah,
Stopped applying years ago. I gave up.
Make our job easier.
Find something more worthwhile to do.
So what would you do if you didn't work at the ARC, or when you retire in a year or two? What would you rather do? Is there a job that'd be better? What would be your dream job?
No, look, I've been lucky. I mean, you mentioned some of the things in my career. I used to say that being a dean was an extraordinarily good job. In fact, the best job that I could imagine. Because you had the power to change outcomes in a very immediate sense. So you could get things happening, and if you did it right, you could really help the whole system. The ARC is a bigger scale than that. If you can get things right, you're changing a whole national system. There are not many jobs that give you that opportunity.
So it's that influence thing that you get to...
No, it's not. It's not just influence. It's not that. It's, people criticise our grant system. People criticise the ARC all the time.
I've never heard that.
No, you've never heard that. We disappoint a lot of people. If you can make even minor tweaks to make that better, it's worthwhile.
And you have.
No one said yes there. No,
They don't know. They don't know what we've been through.
No.
This is not personal.
No, not personal.
Well, that's good. So you're happy where you are. And
look, I enjoy this job immensely.
What's next? Retirement?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I did something, quite extraordinary. I resigned from my tenure day ANU job when I didn't have to. And
you were the Dean of Science at the best university in the universe. I've seen the PR.
Indeed, yeah. And it was a terrific job working with terrific people like you and Will, it's fantastic. And I gave it away for a random job, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Random job.
I don't know what I'm going to do in 2 years' time.
Fuck it, I'll run the ARC then. That'll be fine.
Like my mate said, I
bored.
could do some painting for him, like he was an electrician, and do some shit for him.
Or CEO of $700 million.
I had another mate. I had another mate. No.
Yeah, that's right. So that was a bold step, and I enjoyed it.
And I'm enjoying it too.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon about the Australian research system? Are we doing okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think we've got an absolutely terrific research system in Australia. Really good. Really high quality, and lots of measures that you can use to
let's
describe
not
that.
talk about measures.
No, I didn't think... The quality's high. We measure it every odd years.
Every minute?
No, not every minute. Not every minute.
You got an app
We've
on your phone?
we got an evaluation. We got an evaluation exercise which is extraordinary because it collects all the outputs, all the publications, every single one of them, from the academic sector, and we rate it. That's an extraordinary task. So I know exactly how good our Australian system is. Yeah, well, not him. Collectively.
I don't know how much. I'm glad someone knows.
Well, look, I think we need to let you go because we want to talk about people getting smashed up in ambulances. No, I think what you're doing is very important.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I hope in retirement.
And so
I'll see the value of it.
No, we got something for you to read. I think you should have a copy of this. This is called Public Opinion About Science from the
and a
ANU.
trophy. He gets a trophy.
It was written by two excellent authors.
Thank you.
And I think you can learn from that as well as the trophy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
We've finally given it away.
The last copy gone.
It's gone. Thank you.
Take your drink. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff up here. We haven't given it all away.
So anyone who's thinking about being a researcher, well, look. After that, we're going to get a little more blood and guts.
I still wanted to know what the magic keyword was.
I think you said it was Magda Zubanski.
Zubanski. Well, there you go. I was spelling it wrong.
Zubanski.
What?
Finesse.
Oh, there you go. See, I was
there Zs in
typing
her
it
name?
wrong.
SZ. Anyone who's thinking about applying for research grants, and you're obviously all ANU
That's what you got to
researchers.
do. Just put it in there somewhere. Say climate change, terrorism, and Magda Zubanski. Well, don't blame her. Just look for how she could resolve it via
for
some
fixes.
sort of well.
But we've heard a lot of worthy stuff. Like we're saying, we're joking around, but we want to talk to someone who does the stuff that most of us would never want to do. Really, I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. Would you? Would you want to be an ambulance guy?
Look, it needs doing. It needs doing, but I know that the people that they're dealing with aren't in a good place.
No, they're not normally. Oh, are there any ambos in the room other than our next guest? No one's done ambulance?
Please welcome to the stage, Sean Quicini.
He's over there. How are you, Sean?
We all?
Now we have just to give a bit more background, Sean is the head of training at St John Ambulance ACT and team leader with the State Emergency Service. Sean spent over 15 years involved in the whole spectrum of rescue from drug-effective, abusive patients. Wow. To leading response teams in major national disasters. In his current role, he coordinates a team of dedicated professionals to teaching life-saving skills to over 20,000 people in the Canberra
You
community.
just must walk around feeling fabulous. Like everything you do sounds just
I do now after that introduction. I mean,
Well,
seriously.
look, you know, you wrote it down, so we've got to read it out. You're going to say, you know,
I was trying to be humble, but seriously.
and he can do a clap
That
push-up
failed
as well.
dramatically.
No, if this is the humble one, I want to hear you brag.
Look, what I do, I feel really privileged to be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
What I do, I should clarify. I'm not a paramedic. What I do is I run the training part of St John Ambulance. So what St John does is we save lives. We teach people how to save lives. That's what the whole thing's about. It's a not-for-profit organisation, and we work really, really hard to make money to fund all the nice stuff that we do. So, example, this year we trained 20,000 people in Canberra on how to
Just in
save lives.
Canberra?
Just in Canberra alone. It's probably about, I think, 500,000 people across the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 50% of that is primary school kids that we do for free.
What do you
So
teach primary school kids?
we teach them really, really simple stuff. So we teach them what's the difference between something you can take care of yourself and what's the difference and what you have to do to go get some help. So, okay, that's a big accident. I need to go get help now.
Like Dad's arms come
Yep.
off.
Yeah,
I should
I'm
call the
seriously.
police.
I'm thinking about this a lot when
Go
my
and
kids
get help.
when I know that I can use a chainsaw when,
Exactly
when
right.
my wife's not home, so that
Your
my kids will be
4-year-old's
able
going to help you out.
Yeah, you can call,
Exactly
call,
right.
call on the phone. I
Or
want
it's
to know what's my limit.
Or it's I fell over. Oh yeah, I'm all right. I can carry on. So it's basic things that they're gonna take with them. So it's if somebody's not responding, I need to get help.
Yep.
Yeah.
So slap a few times, nothing. Get on the blower.
Yell at them,
Or a more formal.
pinch them. If they don't respond, get on the blower and call for help. Yeah. It's simple things like that that they take with them. So our goal is to give them these skills for the rest of their lives. So that's why we want to start with primary school. So you start early, and they've got that for the rest of their
How
lives.
hard is that though? Like, have you gone into the rooms with like what 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds? What
Yeah,
age are we talking?
absolutely. So we start from kindy, we go right through
Kindy?
to about 12-year-olds. Yeah, we teach in high schools a bit too, but we focus on the
Do you get
primary
kids
school
freaking
kids.
out? Like if you're talking to a 5-year-old about
No.
blood and guts and heart attacks, do
They're
they?
factual. Kids love
No,
facts. They
not
love
at all.
what you do. They
Not
love a
at
little
all.
rule.
Not at all.
So they're fascinated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If Dad has had his head brutally chopped off, what do I do? They would love to have a little list. They'd be like,
Ointment.
seriously, okay, I go and get the ointment. Like seriously, they love a rule.
But so is there an age group that freaks out the most? Are there groups of people who are more sensitive to this kind of training?
Yeah, adults.
Adults.
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. It's you. See?
Adults know it hurts. They know it's horrible, and they get upset by it. Kids go, "Oh, blood and guts. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like watching TV.
That's really cool. Oh, that's going on. Oh, someone's bleeding. That's interesting." They get right into it. Adults freak out, and they're the hardest
and run
people
to
to
their
teach
children.
these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
one of the other places that we see St John Ambulance a lot is like at festivals and community
The
events.
roller
and things.
derby.
At the-
That's where I
at the
see them
roller
the
derby.
most,
You
the
see them at
roller
ro-
derby.
Dealing with injured derby girls.
Yeah, so that's another thing we do. So we make money through the training courses we do to fund these people. We teach them up how to take care of people. We bring them up to just under paramedic level.
And they
So
do this
they
for
can go-
free.
and they do it
Every
for
time
free.
we see
They
St
put their
John's
time
person,
in.
they're doing it for free.
They're doing it for free.
Every damn
Yep,
one.
every single one.
Wow.
But they get free entry to the derby. Like that's the
Exactly.
And
That's the
those
trade-off.
sweet
That's the
uniforms.
trade-off. And a lot of them go to those things because they know, oh, there's probably not going to have much happen, but it'll be cool, so I'll volunteer
But they go to
for
the
that.
big day out and they get
But-
everyone eating all
Yeah.
of the ecstasy
Yeah,
and,
they
things
do.
and the drug.
They do. So there's the extremes. There's the school fate, and then there's the big day out.
Seriously,
I'm at the Granite Fate. 4 kids have OD'd again.
seriously,
What the fuck is with these Red Hill parents?
covered in razor blade cuts.
And sometimes they come home covered in vomit. They've been abused. They've got blood down their shoes.
Covered in vomit?
Yep.
Blood down their shoes.
Yeah.
How do you get blood in your shoes?
You put your shoe on wrong, obviously.
You learn.
Like,
You learn
Oh,
very
you don't cut
quickly.
yourself 9 times first.
You learn very quickly to wear leather boots because the fluids don't get in leather boots. Whereas if you wear sneakers, then you walk home with
so
soggy
what's
feet.
happening? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
this is just dealing with run of the mill stuff.
Yeah, this is the sort of
This is the
stuff that
fake
happens.
crowd
Yeah.
still. We haven't even
We haven't even
So
touched
they
the
bought a
festival
little,
yet.
those little cupcake toffee things.
And
You know
a boot
you're going to
full of
lose a
blood.
tooth and you're going to.
So that's what I get to do every day. Is I get to make money and I get to help channel it into these nice things that we do.
So you're one of the few people who gets paid to do St John stuff?
Yeah, so we have a very, very limited paid staff,
Yeah.
but 90% of it's volunteer.
So why do the volunteers come? I mean, there's but what are you seeing? Why do they say they want to do it?
It's a good question. Part of it is, I think what really drives people is they want to feel like they're making a difference. So they want to know that they can get out there and make a difference. So a lot of people actually come in afraid of it, and they want to do this to challenge themselves. So they don't want to do it just because they think it'll be cool. I get a cool uniform, I get to go to all these things. They get in there because they are actually afraid of it. And you can train them up, but nothing really prepares you for that first patient as they come across
And
the
yet
line.
they still throw themselves into it.
And they
like
still throw
start
themselves
afraid
in,
of it,
yeah.
and you give them the skills definitely to help. But
Absolutely.
that's an amazing thing that the people that are afraid of it go, that's the thing I want to do.
Yeah.
How many do you get though who come in as like heroes who already know it all and they've got the utility belt and they're like, no worries, mate, I've got this.
I made my own bandages.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Got my own
Did you get,
ointment.
surely you get some.
You laugh, but that's not an exaggeration. That happens every day. Every day there's one. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
What do? You just go, thank you.
Let's go. Thanks.
Do they get
Yep.
the special festival?
Go
Maybe
that way.
Special festival.
some sort of thing where they're just out there policing ambulancing a tree or something.
We're policing each other.
God knows.
One of you, for Christ's sake, cut yourself so that everyone's got something to focus
They've
on.
all got their magic ointment.
Uh-huh. You put them on the roadblock down the end there.
Yeah,
they take care of
nothing's
that.
gonna
Well, that's
happen.
amazing.
Nothing's gonna
So
happen.
they're really, but
Yep.
you know, to look positively at it, they're so emotionally invested. They're really
They
keen
are.
and they've done their
They
own
are.
research.
Well, that's the good for you, I admire your
Yeah,
spirit.
yeah. But they've done flawed research, is all we're saying.
They've done absolutely everything, and those people you can channel. So you can channel that passion into
So use
actually
it for good
positive
instead of
skills.
evil.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
what? Like answering the phones? I mean, do you...
No, you take them from, you know, they come in with this massive amount of kit. They think they know everything, and you take that apart, and then you build them back up.
As you talk to them, you're pulling bits.
Won't be needing that.
Yeah.
Won't be
That
needing
knife is not a scalpel.
These leeches, we haven't done that for 200 years.
So what's the
You would
craziest
be
stuff?
surprised.
Can you tell us? Some of your
Craziest
faves.
stuff. Look, we get people bring IV and fluids and things, and
They bring their own.
Yeah, they bring their own.
I got
They-
40
they bring
litres of saline
yeah,
strapped
they-
to my body. I'm ready.
Okay, we can trust that.
They bring
That's
it. They
great.
bring it from home, or they bring ancient things that they've had. For, you know, their granddad gave them this first aid kit, and they'll bring them with them, and it's old smelling salts and other stuff, and they still want to give it a go.
But don't you want to give it a go? I mean, the smelling salts.
You can't.
I've always
You
thought what
kinda
the smelling
do.
salts
You
do.
kinda do, like,
what's
yeah.
the biggest risk? It's get you know
Yeah.
you might die.
You do it when no one's looking. You just sort of go.
Throw yourself on the ground back. How bad? Are smelling salts still used?
No.
No. What are they?
I have
You
no
don't know?
idea.
No, you don't need to know.
I don't
Something
need
we
to
don't
know.
use anymore.
That's one of those superfluous things you delete from your brain because you've got more important things to think about. Yeah.
And so you have no shortage of volunteers?
Not at the moment, no.
But
We've
does it
got-
happen? Do you get
It did.
lulls?
It was a long time we took to build up our volunteers because it was really struggling to get people through the door. Now we're getting a lot better at it, at keeping people. So yeah, so it's doing well.
We use what is it? The
yeah.
stick. We use stick.com. That's
What?
how you keep people.
Okay.
They have to give us money back. No, it's good. So the other side of my private life, I spend a lot of my time volunteering with the State Emergency Service. So that's really my passion. So professional life, I get to
You
do nice
train
stuff,
volunteers and then you go and
and then I
volunteer.
go and volunteer. Yeah, and I
Do you
I have
sleep?
not
Do you eat?
not
Do you-
not much in between. Yeah, so I don't really have much
So
of a life.
when you're training these volunteers, do you train them much in? Okay, they're dealing with first aid, but how much like psychology first aid? Like if they're going out to the big day out or something like that, what are you teaching them to deal with someone that's high on the thing? And
The goofballs. They're hopped up on goofballs.
The wacky
like the
jacks.
kids today.
the hoot nanny, they're
wacky
high on the hoot
jacks.
nanny, and
Right.
and they might not be acting
Appropriately.
straight down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you teach them to deal with that?
It's something that's really difficult to deal with because when people are under the influence, they're not logical. So you can't just calm somebody down because they don't calm down like a real normal person. And so you've got to. Sometimes you can't deal with them. Sometimes
So
you just
look
gotta-
over there,
Sometimes you
cracking
just got to get the hell out of there, and you've got to teach them when to recognise that point where
And
it's
so
going
that's a
where
get
it's going from okay, I can deal with this to all right, oh shit, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
really,
Let
because
the cops deal with it. Yeah.
that's one of those things, you know, that being in the paramedic sort of ambulance world is very much, okay, we're here to help, and that telling that moment of, okay, I've got to step away, can't do anything here.
Danger is first, man. Danger,
absolutely.
response, A, B, C, D. Isn't that how it runs?
Yeah, you did well. You did well.
Dr. KY Jelly, I think it was.
That's Dr. KY.
Who said you forgot S? Put your hand up.
There's an S?
Cheers. They keep
Well done. Congratulations.
They always
does that
keep
come
adding
from?
to these acronyms.
Yeah, they do.
But so you also state emergency service. So you get bored helping people, keep people alive.
Yep.
So you run into burning buildings and forest fires.
Yes. And major national disasters and trees on people's cars and
Don't you just
people
want to
falling down cliffs and
be a
missing
real estate
people.
agent or something and just go
sometimes.
sell a house?
Well, I started out as an accountant. Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything.
I was a very boring person. I'm still
But-
reasonably boring, but
But what happened?
I've seen worse.
What drove you away from accountancy and towards the world of
That's a line you don't hear. What drove you away from accountancy?
like?
Accountancy.
I want to say that thing.
it is a really good question, and I think my story is really similar to a lot of people who ended up down this path. Was I became an accountant because I was good at it. I went to uni because that's what you do. You go to uni, you get a job, you get married, you buy a house. Yeah, that's what you do. And
But
that's
you're
what,
not married. Do you
that's
have a
what
house?
society. I have a house. Yes.
I see you got most of the way there. That's good. That's
Yep.
good. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then,
So I became an accountant because I was good with numbers. It worked, did all right, but I was becoming a fat guy in a suit and just making more money for people who already had lots of money. And it was really, really miserable. And on the side, I started volunteering and started doing this cool stuff.
and did you have the same thing you were saying about other volunteers where you were frightened at first and that's why
Yeah,
you did it?
yeah, absolutely.
Push
It
through
was
that
really
fear barrier.
And you're getting a weird balance in your life where you're miserable. on one side.
miserable professionally
And terrified.
and terrified, but still having the most awesome time
But
ever.
terrified, having
Yeah.
a big emotional commitment, and then big emotional rewards as well. Sure.
Absolutely.
So happy fear.
Yeah, happy fear. So yeah, one day I just decided that was it. I've had enough of this. Took the tie off, walked out, and
Good job.
haven't looked back. Yeah,
Yeah, woo.
Yeah.
and I was scared shitless because I gave up a career and gave up everything else, and now I make 20% of what I used to make.
Wow.
But I make enough money to get by, and that's all that really matters.
Were you wearing clothes? You seem
Yeah.
clean. I think that's working well.
I have my one bath a year. Yeah. All right.
That's all they're allowed.
Yeah, so, but that story is really similar to a lot of people that end up in these jobs, and I find it really interesting, the psychological thing behind it, that people who end up in these jobs truly want to make a difference, and often they get burnt out because there's not a lot of funding, there's not a lot of support, and they're doing those really long hours, those extra hours, because there isn't that extra support. So
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Because it is such a constrained world, that
Absolutely.
it's high value to us as a society. We don't fund it very much, but then we get people like you and Tammy previously, I'm sure, that are throwing themselves into this job because it's an important job, but we still got to make sure that you're working a sensible number of hours.
absolutely. It's
So how many hours do you work?
well, I get paid for 38.
Yep, and
Realistically, probably 50 hours work a week.
And that's
And
just
then,
on St.
and
John's?
then volunteering on top of that, yeah. So probably do another 10, 15 hours
So
volunteering
a
a week.
gentle 65, 70 hours.
yeah, but you can legitimately say volunteering is
But I get a
outside
lot.
of
I get
that.
a lot out of volunteering, so it's
Yeah.
not work to me. Yeah,
Yeah, make a difference.
yeah.
But it still is. It still is an interesting case where NGOs are run by people that are devoting themselves to it. And
Absolutely.
we're never going to get to a situation where the corporate world doesn't need to have people devoting themselves to it because they get paid big money. We're never going to get to that in the NGO world. But it'd be nice if there was something in the middle. That people didn't feel they have to devote their souls to it. They could just have a decent life.
It would be nice if there was a little bit more of a balance, and it was people value it in society, but they don't value it economically.
What would make you stop? Would anything make you quit?
Don't know. Probably not.
Not so far.
Not so far. And, you know, I've seen some pretty horrendous things and done some pretty crazy stuff. You know, I've been up to my armpits in people. And
Well, who hasn't?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
That's a different topic. We'll do that next week.
It's our first birthday, isn't it?
And there's plenty of those stories that would make you cringe, and that you sometimes you find yourself just going back to those moments and going,
Wish I was an accountant.
wow, yeah, that was pretty.
How good
That was
was-
pretty extreme. Yeah, yeah. It'd be really nice if all I had to do was put on a suit and sit down in a chair.
But you're
and
not really
type.
tempted, are you?
No. But then I think about that. It just no, that would be miserable. If you think if you think this sort of extreme stuff is insane and crazy, routine is so much worse. So I do get off a little bit on the adrenaline side of things.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So do we. That's
Yeah.
why we do this.
Yeah.
So if you could fix, is there one thing that you'd like to improve? Like if there was one magic thing, everyone gets a magic wand question. What would improve what you're doing the most, ignoring practicalities?
I would like people to value the potential for something to go wrong. So people put money into something after everything went to shit. So somebody died in the workplace. Okay, we'll buy a defib, we'll buy a first aid kit, we'll teach people how to do it. But somebody almost died in the workplace. Oh, we were a bit lucky, it's all right.
Didn't die, doesn't matter.
Yeah. If you just put a smaller amount of investment in beforehand, you wouldn't need me. You wouldn't need all of that.
So your ideal is you're out of a job?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be the ideal for everyone?
Yes.
Like
I have no
seriously,
problem with
we
that.
should all be trying to get rid of our own jobs.
Yeah.
No, we should. We should. That's an important point. Do our jobs so well that society never needs that job to happen again. Like Leonardo da Vinci.
But how does a garbage man do that?
Look, it's more a
Just asking
philosophical
questions.
point. You know. Well, they invent a better garbage system.
removal
Like
device.
like Garth down in Sydney. We're not allowed to talk about
No,
Sydney.
Sydney's gone
No one
now. We're
knows
back in
about that. But
Canberra.
anyway, you know,
So is there anything you do other than this? Is there a job you want to do more than this?
No,
That's
No.
good.
I really love what I do. It's hard, but it's damn worth it.
it's worth it. Give him a big clap, everybody. And that's what he gets. That's what's worth it.
That was worth it.
That's
guys.
better than money.
All right.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Thanks, guys.
Please thank Sean very, very much.
Thank you.
So many things to donate money to tonight.
I'm donating all of your money to everything.
I'm glad I gave it all to you before we got here because I can't be trusted. Otherwise, it would all go to the NRA to stop doing drugs while masturbating.
You've been watching KindaThinky. Don't donate your money to the NRA.
Or us.
If you want to stop masturbating, just
Go to Stick.
go to Stick and I don't know, just donate the money to a positive group like the groups that we've been talking about tonight.
And you should. And we will too. Well, we will. There's a bunch of people we need to thank before we leave. These are people who've also donated things to this, though, which is, of course, very worthy. We want to thank the Australian National Centre for Public Awareness of Science. I know, right? Because they pay our wages.
Yeah. The Australian Science Communicators. Ease
International. Yeah.
Ease International.
That
Big
takes two
claps there.
voices.
There you go.
Ease International are very...
And Redboat down
And
the back
Redboat.
there. Redboat makes that happen if you're there watching online.
We also want to do special kind of thinky. Huge hugs to Carly, Madden and Adrian King, who are behind all the stuff that actually is the hard work. We do the fun stuff. They do all the behind the scenes. And more importantly than anything is to thank our aspirational sponsors. White Rabbit Breweries, who don't give us any money, but God, we give them some money. And so we're hoping
Seriously?
one day, maybe,
How many beers have they sold on the like literally millions? Like seriously.
4.5 million beers.
They're-
And that's in a 9-series show. We want to thank Virgin Airlines because we like to fly places.
But you've got Threadbow here, and I think it's coming up to summer. I want to go somewhere different.
Threadbow's good in summer too. Threadbow's fabulous in summer. If you like bike riding or anything else, you can do that at Threadbow.
Seriously, you learned that? Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, all right.
And look, we're going to come back. We're going to come. Sorry.
What are
it's
we
not
doing in
over.
October?
In October, we're going to do trolling. We're going to talk about trolls. And we have a few people you might want to hear from. Samantha Maiden, the Telegraph columnist. Have you heard of Samantha Maiden?
A
She's
wonderful
gonna come up here.
reporter.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We're going to talk to her about what she does, why she does it, and how she does it.
We have Scott Bridges, who is half of the people behind Rudd 2000, and what's the other account? The
Eat frosh. We don't know for sure.
No, we can't mention that one. But yes, fake Steve Fielding.
So if you're not on Twitter, you don't know what that is, but goddamn, it's funny. Look up Rudd 2000 and you will laugh.
And
It is very
a
funny.
champion of the blog wars.
A
If
champion
anyone
of the
remembers
blog
the blog
We're
wars.
also going to talk to Professor Jill Slay, who's the director of the Australian Centre for Cyber Security at the UNSW in Canberra. So we're going to talk about trolling online and all that wonderful stuff. And also...
Dr. Chris Bishop, who is a medievalist and classicist and also worked the bar with Rod many a year
We used to be
ago.
bouncers together, and he can talk to us about actual trolls.
We'll see you all in a month. Thank you very much.
Thanks, folks. Cheers.